What's up, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and I'm here with Abzy. We're doing the Xbox co-stream, which starts in 20 minutes. We're going to watch what Xbox is showing. I think there's going to be no surprises. I don't know. And then we're going to jump into our podcast afterwards. Do you expect any surprises from this?
No,
do you expect a hot
really.
drop?
No, I just want to see Stalker 2, being going. You know what I mean?
Stalker.
Shit like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Going that I want to see going. Yeah, I don't expect any surprises. Not this time of year. I feel like over the years, November is just less of a thing now. You know what I mean? November, December is just not a thing anymore.
Yeah,
that much. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that. Yeah,
yeah. Switch to like February, even June now. Like summer, we never used to see that. Like big.
I sort of like it. I like it and don't like it. I like it. I like it because it's every month, but I dislike it because I'm a big November, December fan, and that used to be the time, right? It used to be when you got together and you were like,
even my birthday's in November, right?
Yeah, so right. And mine's in December.
Like
so so you get the game and maybe you take a day off. People treat you nicer because it's your birthday, and you're like, yeah, man, let's do some games. So
yeah. No,
we'll
it's
just have to see
man.
how it rolls out.
We'll see. Yeah. I just want to know how my baby's doing. You know what I mean?
How your baby's doing. Well, I do not know what.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I was like, what is he talking about? Yeah. With Stalker, do you think the release date is correct?
What is the release date? Like Q1?
Yeah, Q1. I could be wrong, but I thought it was February.
I don't know, man. I expected it to be put on hold like indefinitely because of the war and stuff like that. I did not expect them to even say anything. Not even 2024, but I guess they have a thing now.
Yeah.
I hope so.
So do I. Like, I'm hoping we don't move it. First of all, thank you to everybody in chat. If you get a chance, spread the word to everybody. You can tweet out that we're doing it. That helps the channel get the word out about what I consider to be an adequate podcast, but probably the best naming in podcast. We'll go that far. I'll say probably the best name in podcast. So I definitely appreciate you guys sharing it. Also, I want to give a shout out to some people. Grubhub, DoorDash, Instacart, UPS Fed drivers. So I was not aware, but there's a Discord group of these guys, and one of them contacted me and was like, dude, we're all listening to the podcast now, which might be why we went up. Okay. Yeah. But especially DoorDash, Grubhub, those fans, like a lot of people are all, oh my God, Wednesday's great because now there's 2 days, and it's like their Friday was fine. Wednesday, they were fine and stuff. It's not like they have to watch it, but it's like that extra day. And I ended up getting a bunch of DMs from people going like, dude, Wednesday's awesome. I'm DoorDashing all day long. I'm Instacarting all day long, and I have to listen to Joe Rogan talk about space monkeys. And they're like, dude, this is so nice to have a different group. So I do want to give a shout out to those guys.
At least for Friday, they would need to wind down or chill out with some podcast stuff before Friday night, where they got to drive around drunk people vomiting in their cars and fucking over their shit, and then drunk people ordering food at like 3 a.m., So, my heart goes out to all of you. I've been there before, not as the driver, as the drunk guy.
College, right. So I was there. I puked on your shoulder, maybe.
No, I was fine. Okay, I never got that crazy, but there's a lot of college kids that do, and my
heart goes out to anybody who has to deal with them. Super chat, $10 from the Nines. Thank you for years of entertainment, man. You bet, man. I appreciate it. We hope it's entertaining. I mean, that's basically, we are entertained, and what I love to do with the podcast is, as long as we're entertained, my assumption is some other idiots out there will also be entertained. So it's like we say dumb, we talk about games, we talk about dumb stuff, and my hope is that other people who like dumb stuff will show up and be like, this is better than getting shot in the testes. So I definitely appreciate.
We'll see Fable gameplay.
Gameplay?
Yeah,
man, that would be
like anything like to see that it's a
glorious. If we saw Fable gameplay, I was not impressed by the trailer. So. Just because it's one of those trailers, it's like, boom, here's a...
Plus, I'm not really down with that protagonist, honestly. Like,
in the trailer?
Yeah.
The trailer had some moments. But anyway, long story short, I definitely hope that we end up getting gameplay for that. But it would be shocking if we did. What's been the most shocking moment in an event for you? Or anybody in chat? Like, what's an event? Hi-Fi Rush. True.
And actually, they did the one thing. You remember when I was really hyped for Cyberpunk, and then it broke my heart when it came out.
I do
Um,
remember. I remember barely.
yeah. So I was waiting for the game since 2012 when they first
Yeah.
released that first trailer, because I'm like a huge Cyberpunk fan. And then 2018, and this is after like a million Reddit threads and like discussions with people and what is it gonna be and theories and blah blah blah. Then Xbox had that E3. I think it was early 2018 E3, and by the end of it, it was just like glitching out. And I called it. That was like one of the high moment as well, for sure.
Yeah,
Like glitched out, and then the trailer came in. Yeah.
That was a pretty high moment to see that and sort of be shocked by this thing that I think
because Phil
for the most
Spencer
part
was in on
nobody
it,
expected.
right? He was in the stage. He was like, "Okay, we're done," and then boom, it was cool.
Phil likes his surprises.
Yeah,
it feels. I mean, anything else that people are talking about, I think Phil does overall like games, and so when something like that randomly pops up, he's sort of excited. Dominic says something I want to talk about. This is random, but I started Midnight Suns recently, and my goddamn, that game is awesome. I'm now bummed. It's unlikely we'll get another one. I realize the game is a lot, LOL, but it's so deep. So just so you know, I started day before yesterday. I jumped in. I finally got it working on GeForce Now. There's an issue with a tab that gets hidden, and on Android you can't alt tab. And so I figured out a way through it, and I was playing it on a streaming device. And, you know, Midnight Suns just has a couple design issues that I hated, and one being super small arenas, like and then consistent reinforcements. Reinforcements are on the way, and you're like, I get it, I know. They're always on the way. But there's a lot to like about Midnight Suns. I think now, especially when it's patched up. I think now also when you buy it, you get everything. I could be wrong on that, but I think there's no DLC for it. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not going to look it up. But I feel like for whatever reason that game at some point just said, screw it, you guys can have everything. But
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. You know what? It's like it wasn't a terrible game. This last year, dude, somebody was reminding me Hogwarts was this year. There was another game that we normally don't talk about that last night in Discord. Somebody said, well, that was February or whatever. And I was like, what are you kidding?
The Hitman roguelike, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, the DLC for Hitman was where they changed everything up. Dude, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
RE4 remake, Dead Space remake.
Oh, yeah.
All came out this year.
Are you you're just off the top of your head. Oh, Dead Space.
Yeah,
That's the one. Thank you. Dead Space remake is just like, because Callisto was December, right? Callisto Protocol.
I think that was December of last year. Yeah. And then Dead Space was like a good palate cleanser for people that wanted another.
Yeah,
Dead
we
Space,
can just pretend.
Can't go wrong with a remake.
Callisto. Right. You know, I saw you guys talking about remakes this morning. I listed out what I wanted to see for Fallout 3. In chat, if you guys get a remake, what exactly do you guys want to see? Because that did pop up. Go ahead.
I wonder what it does to the psyche. Like what's his name? Michael Schofield, right? What it does to his ego when he sees, like, right after this new game he just put out, the remake of his old game put out by EA did like just miles better. You know what I mean? I wonder what that does to an ego. You know, how much like, I don't know, it humbles you or makes you fucking midlife crisis out of control, or you know.
I wondered the same thing with Immortals of Avium
what about
or
Immortals?
Avium. That, you know. So you look at Immortals, and I think even internally they must, you know, with enemies just dropping from the sky, they must have known people were going to be like, dude, we're in 2023. Like, that just, we're past that. And there's a lot of stuff I say we're not past. I think we're past enemies just dropping from the sky. That's the way I feel. And I always do wonder what it's like. And I try to make sure that my psychotic mentality is during the review, so I don't have any emotions towards those guys. But then the moment I post a review, and I start seeing people saying, oh, this game's not doing the greatest. And I see people celebrating it. Like, I saw people celebrating Media Molecule laid off a bunch of people. And I was like, man, you guys are just terrible. You're terrible people. Exactly like Anthem. This came up. Remember when Anthem was going to get 2.0? And I was like, dude, do it. Let them try. And then it got canceled. And you saw some journalists even, like, celebrating it. And I was like, are we not?
Because it's EA, right?
Because they were
like,
mad at
big
Anthem.
Company bad or whatever.
They were mad at Anthem. It was more just mad at Anthem. Anthem didn't deliver, so they were like, you don't get a chance.
Let's trace back, you know, the sequence of logic, right? If you're mad at Anthem, that means you were wanting Anthem to be good, but it disappointed you by being bad. But then when it tries to be good, when you want it to, you know, be good, or
wouldn't you want
or is it just like I don't know, fuck it. You know what I mean? You know how much I hate Cyberpunk, right? How much I hated it, how much it disappointed me and crushed my soul and killed my kids and wife. But when the update, or not the update, the DLC came out, I was like, yo, this expansion fucking rocks, dude. It's sick. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird. It's weird. It's kind of, is it pettiness? It's probably pettiness, right?
It's
like that sense of just like, not just fuck it. We're cheering, them failing.
Yeah, and there's probably an inevitable, I've told you this when I review games, sometimes I'm like, geez, I just wasted, 40 hours of my day. Or 40 hours of my day. That makes sense. But 40 hours of my week or whatever. But I think in the end, it's just pettiness. Yeah. I mean, it just is. You get that thing where it's also weird because if we like games, you would celebrate, like you said, the fixing of a game. And at the same time, man, I don't want any more games to be fixed. I want them all to be awesome day one. If that's right.
Yeah, that's an ideal world.
That's the ideal world. But in the lack of an ideal world, I don't want them not able to go and try to repair it. You know?
Yeah.
And I think we do hold other things against them. Always online, those kind of things add, though. And I think they respectfully add, meaning I think we can all agree if something's always online for no reason, that's a ding against the publishers and dev, the group, whoever made it, and then you do hold that against them a little harsher. You're just like, well, you did always online,
especially if it has no reason to, right? Like Hitman or whatever. I fucking love Hitman, but some shit is just very, very stupid. And it's not that like people don't have internet or whatever, and I'm feeling bad for them or whatever. The biggest issue is that games can have server issues. Companies can have server issues. We've seen it time and time and time again, and that's where the issue lies. Is that it's dependent on something that you have no control over, and that sucks. I hate that feeling. You know what I mean? Like you're in a plane, you're like, if this crashes, I just can't do shit. It's just gonna crash. I'm gonna go down with it. I'm gonna die. Even if I got first class, you know what I mean? So that's the issue with that. I think. I don't. You'll
just die with a full stomach in first class. Like that. Like if you're all dying. Maybe you'll supply a hot meal to a shark when you hit the ocean at 500 miles an hour. It's like, dude, if you're all in the same boat, at some point you might want to just be like, hey, man, it was nice to know you. But instead, people are like, I hate you, as they crash into the ground. You're like, seriously. Plague Souls, thank you very much for showing up. I saw your little note there. I appreciate it. I hope your streaming is going well. I try to spread your streams when I get a chance, jump in there and see you constantly doing some of the older titles, which is awesome. People are talking about remakes, Crackdown. I mean, I would love to see Crackdown have done. Dude. Crackdown's one of my favorite series. So,
dude, man, I was at my computer at work, and for some reason it logged into my old account from the Xbox 360 days that I haven't used since like 2012 or something like that, or 2011 or some shit. And I saw all the old games I had and all the old achievements and stuff.
Yeah.
And Crackdown came back, and I was like, damn, because my favorite thing was just collecting those agility things, just
so
jumping
good
over buildings, KZing all over the place, just leveling up my agility. And then remember leveling up your driving, and then the cars would evolve. That shit was so cool, man. Yeah.
And the announcer, I loved. Everything about that game hit on the first one. Second one, a little bit, little
I never
tentative.
played 2 or 3. I only played 1.
Yeah, you didn't miss a ton. You didn't.
And I love Terry Crews, man. My
Terry Crews is awesome. Terry Crews is awesome, and it's cool when somebody likes games. Like I have no issue with Keanu Reeves. I don't know if he likes games. He doesn't seem like a guy. He seems like a dude. If he's like Tom Cruise, where it's like, if there's a motorbike, why would I race it in a video game if I can go learn it? And those kind of people are awesome. But Terry Crews loves video games anyway. Plays them with his kids, so it's always cool to hear. Florence, is her name Poe? Poe from Peripheral also likes games. I like it whenever anybody who's in that kind of sphere loves games, and it doesn't feel like the Xbox original release where you had that Hobbiton dude walking around with an Xbox bag because they gave him a free Xbox for PR. Which one's
what? What are you talking about?
During the Hobbit, the original Xbox, they gave all the movie stars for movies these Xboxes and pretended they all liked games. Yeah, and you could tell they had no clue what These are guys who are like, I love Super Mario on the Xbox, and you're like, come on. You had like one job.
It's like those e-girls or whatever that like pose with a SNES controller while naked and shit and be like, hey, I'm a gamer.
Well, I do that.
But I remember the one thing. I remember the Polish president giving The Witcher 2 to Barack Obama. back in the day. Do you remember that?
No, but that's a weird get. That's
Because
that's
it's their
not
biggest
what I expected.
export. Like Poland's biggest export was the
Poland's
Witcher
big-
games.
Okay, well that's
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
cool in a way. I mean, I'm sure Obama looked at it and was like, "Can I listen to this? Do I just put it in CD player?" You're like, Obama, come on, walk off.
Yeah.
It's like all the presidents in most nations are of the age where, even though they grew up in games, they were too busy in politics to like play them. I don't know of many politicians. I mean, somebody could probably remind me. I don't follow it very much, but I don't know many who are out there talking about games. And if they are, they're going to get inevitably cornered with the GTA conversation. You know, does GTA sponsor violence or whatever the term is? You know, does it
You got
create
AOC
violence?
playing Among Us with Twitch streamers and shit.
True.
That's pretty much
Dude, I forgot all about that.
Of it.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. Thank you everybody for showing up. We appreciate it. We're just randomly yakking here. Florence, somebody teased me, Florence Pooh. I can't remember her last name. I don't know. I like her. I think she's cool. She likes video games. Any people who can spread the word about video games, I'm happy for. Thank you also for the super chats. I appreciate it. I think I've got to those. Isn't it Chloe Grace Morantz from the Peripheral? Maybe so. Like I said, I didn't know which one it was. I think there's two girls that somewhat have the short bobby haircut that I think I get confused. Let's be honest. When I watch a movie, I'm not looking up the real actor's name. Well, maybe, yeah. Maybe sometimes. Who's this Tom Cruise guy? Mario RPG. Yeah, Mario RPG comes out, right? Isn't Mario RPG coming out in November?
Yeah. Mario RPG remake. You know, I never played that one. I started with Paper Mario. I never played the OG RPG.
Right. The original.
Yeah. The first one I played was the Paper Mario on the N64. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but that is coming out. As we jump over to Xbox, the event, we're going to mute ourselves, so you guys are just going to be able to listen to them. You won't hear us talking. We're going to be a little bitty bit in the corner. Be aware of that, and then we're going to continue the normal podcast at the end. This is only 30 minutes. When it comes to audio, I've got it all dialed in right. If there are some issues, make sure it's not your system before saying something in stream so I don't adjust something for everybody. And then last, Chris McCombe, $10 super chat. ACG would like some advice in your time gaming. Have you ever found time where you find it hard getting into games or settling in them? I found myself bouncing around games this year. Any tips? I mean, dude, it's like, yeah, my tip would be do a subscription service so you don't have to buy it. If it's possible.
This is gonna sound weird. No, actually, it's not gonna sound that weird. You know, sometimes games can be like a rewarding, eventful thing, or like a rewarding chill time after you know, days hard work or whatever like that. You like, are you slotting them? And you know, maybe there are habits outside of gaming that I don't know. I don't know your life, but you know, that was one thing for me when I didn't have a ton of work. You know, I got bored with just bouncing around between games and shit.
I'm gonna switch over real quick to the major thing. Get it playing here. Verify audio going. Here we go. It's going to go live in a little bit. You can see us in the lower corner. Absy and I are going to mute ourselves. Now. Should be starting now. Okay, maybe in a second. They said starting now.
Type in what? For what? What do you mean? Oh, gotcha. No, it still needs a minute, right? The timer? Oh, this is the IGN. Never mind. Wait. There it is. Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. I'll unmute myself. I don't know. Still wait. Oh, there we go. 48 seconds. All right. Mute yourself, Abs.
準備はできてるな春日。やるしかねえ。やってやりましょうや。気合い入れてこうぜ。とりゃよしよしよしよし、いい子だ。いったい。
Too many street punks getting you down? Time for the getaway you deserve? Dondoko Island is the destination for you. Welcome to your vacation within a vacation, where a cozy DIY lifestyle awaits. Gather materials from your surroundings. Buy unique furniture. Or simply craft it yourself. And watch as your dream home unfolds, just the way you like it. In fact, you can customize the whole island to your heart's content. Make friends with memorable characters. Develop your island to accommodate all kinds of tourists and give them the time of their lives. But beware of certain uninvited guests. You'll have to beat some sense into them to preserve your island kingdom. Explore nature. Build infrastructure. Interact with others. And develop your own resort island, your way.
I'll unmute when I have something to say, folks, but not really talking about anything. Yeah, that did look like Condemned. I saw people talking about it in chat.
It seems there will be trouble.
This dangerous new guy in town seems to have his eye on doing business in old Detroit.
Every gang in the city start advertising their services.
I've got to go, but the party goes on.
We need to find him before things get out of control.
Street vultures are the biggest gang in Detroit.
Mr. Spike has become my business partner.
Sutter's meeting the new guy tonight at the old slaughterhouse.
Hear music. We're getting close. Definitely hear some commotion on the other side.
Justice never sleeps.
Wait, is that Peter Weller?
I'm not
Anybody in
playing
chat
any
know?
more games! After him!
I have a large supply of bullets.
I ain't scared of you. I'm pumped up with nuke like a freaking power plant.
Then get ready for a meltdown.
What's that noise?
You now have 5 seconds to comply.
Play the demo, it's pretty fun.
Hi, I'm Philipp Seifried, Technical Director on Dungeons of Hinterberg.
And I'm Regina Reisinger, Art Director on Dungeons of Hinterberg. I know a lot of you have been asking to see more of the social aspects of Hinterberg and how the people you hang out with can help you as you progress through the game. So we're excited to give you a better look.
In this short trailer, we will give you a glimpse at how you might spend a typical day in Dungeons of Hinterberg. Decide which overworld to travel to, spend the day slaying and puzzling in a dungeon, and then head back to the village to befriend someone who may be the key to your success.
just straight up gonna say this one is not selling me. I don't know if it's the pacing or the look. Music is actually pretty damn sweet in this. I dig the sort of laid back music.
Oh yeah. Music's pretty. Whoa. I don't know if that was a stream or. Music, man. Neat little Game Pass game, maybe.
It'll be one of those games where the music's the best part, you know, like soundtrack of the year or whatever.
Skyrim?
Okay, the soundtrack's good.
Kind of reminds me of Ori. Two. I didn't know there was a one. Yeah.
Okay, I admit I sort of like this, where it's like new game, here's a tile, blah, blah, blah.
Game. Oh, let's go, dude. Oh, that's so good. nice. Lumen.
Now with more stutter. I'm just joking. I'm
no.
just joking. I shouldn't have said that.
You have been chosen to govern a land of great peril and promise. It has suffered long from the scourge of banditry. But there is another threat, an illegitimate baron who claims the northern territories as his own. Will you prove yourself worthy of this honor? Or will you perish by the traitor's steel?
Love me a medieval city builder. I don't know, but it looks pretty good. Nice, I'm intrigued.
Is this Manor Lords, but it's like got more going on or something? Do you know if this is Manor Lords? Because it said it was made by Slavic Magic. I don't know who that is.
It's giving me that itch, you know, man. Very cool. Manor Lords. This looks good. I am excited. Love this shit.
Pretty sure Manor Lords is already out in early access or something, right?
Oh,
I think
okay.
Denovan plays it.
That's cool. Yeah, I swore off early access. Oh, that's cool. They separated the interviews. There.
Welcome to the finals, the world's greatest game show.
That's right. Skyway Stadium is loaded and our contestants are ready. Time for the big match.
This has to be Ubisoft, but it says Nexium, so I guess not. But it looks like, you know.
What the hell is this?
I don't know.
Another one of those.
The chase is on. They need to deposit that cash box.
They sure do, Jude. That's not a cash out station.
Talk about putting your money where their mouth is. Ouch!
There's one. That cash out will take time to complete. Maybe they can destroy their way out of trouble here.
Oh, there's destruction.
No doubt
Oh, that's
about it,
cool.
Scotty.
Okay.
We've got
Okay.
strategies in play.
This is what Bad Company used to be like. Kinda.
Look at this.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's the finals is what it's called.
Okay, that's cool. It's like Noita. Yeah, music has been a pop today. Finally. Open beta. Hard?
Huh?
Yep. Oh my. Oh my.
And on consoles, it may run more than like 12 frames per second, too.
This looks beautiful. Jesus.
Yeah.
I never got into the first one yet.
See Amazing Animal? Shoot amazing animal.
Yeah. It's got some survival game jank a little bit, but damn, it looks so good. Yeah, it's gonna run out like 10 FPS. Makes me want Turok more, you know?
Yeah, Microsoft with the bass drops just like epic.
Whoa. The killer left the heart next to the body. This wasn't some random act of violence.
Oh.
This was a ritual. A page of text written with a typewriter. Someone's been watching us.
How do you run from an idea? From a story that lives in your head? I need to escape this nightmare.
Wake says the story will change reality around us.
Oh my god, I don't want to see this. Oh, that looks so good.
We written into the story. I brought you the Heart Witch. Show me the terror.
Show me the terror.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Give it to me.
The page says the record will open the overlap. Or is the page predetermining it? Am I just playing into the story?
Water pressed in on out of the question. An opening to felt good.
Oh, that's a cool design. She's like mirrored.
She can't see me in the light. Where is she?
Restless dreams.
full on survival horror.
The song will show me the way.
Look in the mirror, cobweb of my soul, my face forever, seeking to be home, driven by passion, raging like a storm.
The overlap is at the pond. Fuck. Here we go again.
For this, I'm definitely not going to see this, though. I don't want to watch it anymore. Not bad, man. Short and sweet. Game. No, like, talking and shit, you know? Not too crazy, but, like, it's cool that we got to see Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for showing up and watching it. We're going to hang out and talk more about what we just saw. First of all, it blows my mind how good music's getting in games. I was writing down, like, each game, and I swear to God, almost every one of them, I was like, dude, rockin' game. Or rockin' music for everyone. It was ridiculous how good their music.
Absolutely.
I mean, even on the games, like I even wrote it down.
Dungeons of
Berg Island or whatever was. I was just like whatever. But the music was sweet. It was exactly what I expected to see. Though I don't remember anything about Akira Will Die or whatever.
That looks cool, man. I like those types of games. It kind of looks obviously like middleware to like indie, probably like leaning more on the indie side. But I like this cool like high acrobatic combat and moving through levels and like kind of like sliding under things, jumping over things, going to enemies. It looks to be one of those games, you know, like Hotline Miami, but 3D plus like, you know, some stuff like Pedro. Remember that My Name is Pedro game?
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that is really, really cool.
With the banana.
Like yeah.
Also, as somebody stated in the chat, and thanks everybody for sticking around. If you can't, that's fine. I appreciate it. But if you can, we're going to be talking about game news as well as this stuff. I would also say that for an announcement that came out, 2 days ago, I think I got it leaked to me that it was 2 days at most, 2 or 3 days ago, they were doing an event. And then it's like an event that showed pretty much what I wanted to see. I was, you know, you always hope for a popper, like some kind of surprise, and we did get one, but a hot drop would have been awesome. But I think Phil Spencer even was on some interview and said, just don't expect any hot drops. It's just not, we're not there right now.
Yeah, like if they were to have those interviews and stuff like that within that, they could have definitely extended it well over 30 minutes, probably like an hour or something. But it's really cool that we just got game after game after game, and then in some of them were like, if you want to watch an interview, I want to watch a more of a deep dive, here's like the QR code or whatever, you can watch it in like another video. That's a really cool format, gets straight to the point, no bullshit, you know what I mean?
Hush Al Gould, $2 super chat, Yakuza Animal Crossing edition.
Yakuza Animal fucking Crossing.
So what is that? That's called like Infinite Wealth?
Infinite Wealth is the 8th game. Yeah, it's gonna be like a proper Yakuza game, and I'm guessing this is one of the side games where you can have like an island and do the thing.
I don't know what you want to do. Infinite Wealth. It looks like he had a lot. I mean, I think that's sort of what it's trying to indicate, is like you're rich enough to throw your own.
Well, the combat there didn't look turn-based, right? Like, I wonder if in that island the combat is just normal real time.
Well, they did show one combat, but they did show right at them 3/4 of the way 3 guys and then him. But I didn't look to see exactly what.
I didn't see any UI things. I just saw him hitting. Right. So I wonder if it's like a real time kind of side thing.
In chat, what do you think? Admittedly, I know that some people are going to be disappointed. Makes sense. All these directs or instants, there's always something that you're hoping for that doesn't pop. But was there anything that you did like? I will say that when I look through it, I'm more interested in RoboCop. It looks rough, but I do like that they got Peter Weller. The problem is Ed 209's voice is different, and I don't know why it bothers me, but when he's like, you have 5 seconds. In the original movie, when that guy's like, you have 5 seconds to comply, you're like, whatever you want in 5 seconds is going to be done. Like, I'll wash your car. And he just, in this, it sort of sounds like a computer just going, you got 5 seconds to comply. It was a little bit odd. But Peter, it is Peter Weller, right? Everybody said it's him doing the voice there. I think, I could be wrong. I believe the lady, the female lead from the movie is not in it. And I don't know if she acts anymore, but I liked her voice and I loved her in the original. I think, if I remember right, I could be talking out my ass right now, but I think she actually was only in games for a short amount of time. You know, movies where they pop in, they do some movies, and then they just sort of fade out.
One-hit wonders or whatever. Like
they look at like what you're going to get paid for league minimum or whatever, and you're like, I can take an office job or union minimum. Snake Eater was in there. That looked fine. That was the first engine, right? The first engine look.
Yeah, it looks like it's just the same game but remade with way better graphics. I wonder if they'll change anything more fundamental. I hope not. I hope it, because I don't know, Konami doesn't have the best track record, but if it's literally just the same game looking like this, I'm down. Well, there's a lot of shots of just animals and wildlife. I wonder if there's like a wildlife AI thing they're trying to showcase, like, oh, we have animals going around.
Trying to show like a little sim life kind of thing where like alligators eat the tortoises, eat the that would be cool.
A little pyramid. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go for it.
No, what I think one of the weirdest, I didn't realize, like, one of the weirdest surprises for me, where I just realized I'm hyped for this, is Manor Lords, because that just, for some reason, gave me like just a huge itch. Just seeing them work, like seeing them like with the city builder and them working, and then how it all plays out, and then combat and the research tree, it just like clicked something in my head. Those types of games, like when a game does it right, it just kind of gives me that, just that itch that I want to play it. Yeah,
you can tell too that, like, I mean, there was other stuff, but it did feel like Alan Wake was the main thing. They were just trying to get YouTube's music algorithm to ping me. I have no clue, because I'm not like involved with Xbox, so I don't know if you need a special code. So we'll see if they drop it. But there's a lot of good music in there. I can't talk about the game, but yeah, reviews are tomorrow morning, and
I'm very excited.
It's nuts that Alan Wake. It's nuts that like every time we talk about a big game, the very next week we're talking about another big game. And when I say big, I don't necessarily always mean AAA, but yeah, it's been a year.
It's been a fucking year. Like they come and they go, and they come and they go. Remember, like even now, I'm like, oh shit, Tears of the Kingdom came this year. You know what I mean? Like it's only been a couple months. It just seems like a lot because so much has come out since then. Which is fucking crazy. Hogwarts, like nobody's, we just go to the next thing. I think the Starfield discussion has died down now as well, as we approach, now it's Spiderman, and then now Alan Wake. It's just crazy. It's all over. But yeah, I'm very excited. I like the focus on, I'm a survival horror fan when it's done well. And that enemy design looked really cool to me. The mirrored lady,
enemy.
That looked really, really cool to me. And the damage on her when you shoot her with a shotgun, that big ass hole in their chest, that intrigued me a lot for sure.
Aries was asking what we thought about the PC requirements. Personally, I love the idea of companies like moving forward and just saying, okay, this is going to be like the benchmark a little bit. The big one here is that some cards don't actually have the tech. This isn't like DLSS where you can ignore it. This is where the mesh shaders,
like the 1000 series.
Yeah, and I get it. I do get it, but I have this weird feeling somebody will hack it to work without it, and we'll see that horrible frame rate, and you'll be like, oh, all right, it's better. Maybe it is better to just be like, this is sort of a line in the sand, almost like a console. I don't have anything other than, like, I want everybody to be able to play it, but I also, I can't talk about the game, but even looking at the trailers, you're like, dude, there's a lot going on. And their engines they're sort of heavy. I mean, their engine's sort of heavy.
For sure.
On some
they've always been ones to kind of push the graphic boundaries and stuff like that. Even Control, apparently, this is coming from, I think, someone from Digital Foundry or whatever. Apparently, it looks very good. I think personally, I think it looks very good on PS5. But apparently, those are equal to like the low settings on PC,
right?
So their low is pretty good looking. And here's the thing: there's like two sides of me. Where one side is like, okay, I would love for everyone to play this, and you know what I mean. It's always better for more people to play things and obviously buy their game. But at the same time, there's a lot of games being held back by the older cards where it's like, I feel like another part of me is like, okay, this is cool that they're just kind of moving forward, where a lot of devs don't do that because they want to sell the most games to everybody. So that part of me is like kind of excited. But they did say on console, I don't know how it will run on console, but they did say there is a 30 FPS mode and a 60 FPS.
Right.
But they said that they also designed it for 30 FPS for console. So if it's stable, it's all about the frame pacing. If it's looking really good, if it's stable, if it feels good, that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like everybody, or most people in here are excited for Alan Wake. Seems to be like the next big one. Like in the past it was Spider-Man, in the past it was Starfield and Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom. I always try to call it Tears of the Breath, which is sort of creepy. But it is at the end of this year, game of the year for people, not the fucking event, but like for people trying to come up with game of the year. It's going to require a lot of like just looking through your backlog and going, what game was this year? Oh, Dead Space. And then also what you played, because I know a lot of people where I'm like, this might be my personal like top graphics of the year, and then somebody else didn't even play it, at all.
Right,
There were too many games they just did not get a chance to play it. So you have that. Thanks everybody for sticking around talking about games. If you have any questions for the podcast, feel free to shoot them to us as always. I just would say for this event, I don't like these events overall. They don't really appeal to me, but we decided to start streaming them occasionally because of the Wednesday podcast, and also because it's easier to, I think, do them live and then talk about them right after, and instead of waiting like 3 days and talk about them on Friday. And there were times where we'd be like, what was that game? So at least now we can.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. By the way, can I do a little thing? Can I shout out a small YouTuber since we were talking about Alan Wake?
Yeah.
There's this YouTuber that does like a lot, like Alan Wake recaps, a lot of the Remedy universe stuff, and delves really, really deep into them. And I really appreciate it because he kind of, for example, for his Alan Wake recap, he kind of like took things from the comics and the web series, and he just got all this data and from notes and books and behind the scenes and compiled it into a very, very neat timeline, very digestible, very simple to follow. Usually in recaps I have to repeat, like, fucking try to watch a Metal Gear Solid recap, okay?
Yeah.
You go back like 2 minutes every time to try to understand what's going on, but this guy did it really well. I think you guys should check him out if you haven't played Alan Wake 1 and you want like a full recap of everything in the Control DLC. And his name is Hidden Machine, and it's pretty cool. He does good videos about the Remedy stuff. Yeah.
Excellent. Go check them out, and subscribe to this channel. We do 2 podcasts every week, and then we also do reviews. And maybe upcoming November games. I still have to look at the list of games. Recap videos I normally don't mess around with unless I've played the game because I'm nervous about spoilers. But when I have played the game, it is fun. For me, I have to take a long time before I'll go. Like, Alan Wake makes total sense, a recap video now. What I see, though, is like a year later, somebody's doing a recap on Phantom Liberty or whatever. And you're like, seriously? Like, it's such a short amount of time. But I do behind the scenes. I watched DF's interview with one of their tech leads who was nervous as hell. It actually made me nervous. But they did one for Spider-Man 2, which was pretty cool as well. Which is a good video where they covered some of the stuff that they did, some of the cheats they have to use on console to get things, why they didn't use some tech. And it was John, who's always, at least to me, the easiest to listen to of a lot of tech people. He can talk tech, but for the most part, he can drop down to a normal person's level without making, it sound like baby babble, where, he sort of dives into it and he's excited about games, which is always the best.
Yeah, it impressed me. In Spider-Man, like most of the game, I'm just swinging around really fast and stuff. I beat it, by the way. I'm just swinging around very fast and stuff. But it surprised me when I walked around, just like dropped into the city and walked around a bit. The crowd tech is pretty good. It's not that bad. You don't see a ton of goofy stuff. I didn't do it for long enough to notice, but it seemed very, very well made.
Yeah, I mean, crowd tech's difficult depending on how far or how much they want to dive into it. Like Legion, where every person is playable, requires a different style of city tech than it does for Spider-Man. Spider-Man's, I mean, it's got some bugs for sure. That definitely came up. Dominic Webb says, what does held back really mean, though? I'm generally curious what fundamental dev changes can make with a 5 or 8 year dev cycle. So for held back here, at least with Alan Wake, they're actually using hardware that is not in the video cards themselves. And I think that that's probably most of the time what you hear when you hear held back. Like when it comes to our devs talking about being held back by slower tech, yeah, that too, especially like CPUs where you get a CPU that like looks like it's the same gigahertz and then you find out it's got 50% efficiency somewhere and you're all right, you know. And so, we see it in benchmarks sometimes. Go ahead.
Because it's just wild to me, like a dev for a game on PC where you have to take into account so many different variations of so many different GPUs and CPUs dating back like a decade. You know what I mean? It's kind of just wild to me, and I don't know. I have never entered that world of how to make it all work, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hush Out Ghoul, $10 super chat. I platinum Spider-Man 2, yet did not have any of the bugs seen online, yet it did hard crash. Why is there such a discrepancy when it's a console game? So I will say there shouldn't be a discrepancy when there's I mean, the honest truth is it's buggier. And I was talking to John from Digital Foundry, and my personal belief is, like Elden Ring and Hunter Simulator, it's one of the very few games where the patch does worse. It absolutely, and we do now know some people don't have a patched version, the day zero, and they don't have the bugs. So it's like, okay, whatever there could be something like a CPU cycles are being stolen, the AI is doing weird stuff, but like the swinging into buildings, legitimately didn't even know that was possible after 45 some odd hours. And then I go online and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I had it like 8 times, brother. I had to reload checkpoint like 8 times. Yeah.
And it luckily, even with those bugs that are popping up that I got, which was I didn't get any of those. I saw people get them, but I did get more bugs. It's still an amazing game. I still suggest people buy it, but it is definitely there. I guess you'd say Insomniac's Sense Fuse, because that was their game too. Maybe I can't remember what Sunset Overdrive was like, but I would say, you know, it's definitely their buggiest games. And hard crashes, sorry man, hard crashes I'm dead set against. If I had got hard crashes, you would have probably just seen me say, wait, you know, even though it's a Spider-Man game, I'm not too worried about people getting mad, because a hard crash, if somebody's like, you should ignore a hard crash, I'm like, I'm ignoring you. Whoever you are who's saying that. We've seen people say tech issues don't get to them. It's like, makes no sense. Your experience, the tech issues do affect pacing. Getting a crash sucks on a console because it does. As a brain, you're like, I have 2 platforms, maybe the Pro and the 5, or here just the 5, and you're like, what the hell is going on? Why am I getting a crash? How did
it's not
this
like
get
PC when it's running like a ton of things in the background or something could be interfering or whatever. It's just you have the console, you play games, and that's it, and you have no control. It's like that thing where I told you if the plane is crashing, right? And yeah, I've only got it once though, and never again, thankfully. But yeah, it's still, it scares me, you know, especially on console. It's very scary.
Yeah, hopefully with these crashes, I know PlayStation sends their own event logs from the PlayStation itself if it's connected. Hopefully they're looking and going, you know, maybe it's a memory issue or what have you, and they're like, okay, we fix this, because the game does some crazy stuff. The first experience in Spider-Man, the first battle is like, whoa, that's a flex. And then later there's another one that I don't want to talk about, but later there's another one that you're just like, these guys sort of know what they're doing. They're just sort of like, you know, the cream of the crop will rise to the top. It's pretty impressive for a console.
It's cool. We got to the point where this is like what we can see of the PS5, right? Like before that, well, there hasn't been many PS5 only games or titles. Right. Especially by Sony, like
I think there's only 3 or 4.
And I can think of it like FF16, right?
Souls,
but that wasn't really...
the Dark Souls remaster only PS5.
Dark Souls remake, yeah.
Remake, sorry.
But that was at the very beginning, right? With not utilizing everything, and here we see them just it's like this game is kind of like not an advertisement. It's kind of like not a benchmark. What is it? It's like a example of what can be done with everything combined, down to the vibrations for literally everything, right?
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I think I think overall saying that it's sort of a future benchmark at minimum for city traversal and stuff like that, it definitely is, and just some of the things that they've been able to do. Moving on from there a little bit, talking about new games coming out. What is everybody in chat getting next? So what is your next game? Because I'm done with Alan Wake, and RoboCop just got added. I think maybe Manor Lords. I don't know if that's a early access. That one I'm going to check on. But I'd like to know what people are getting in chat. Like, are you, or maybe what the last game you got, if you were happy with the last game you got, or what you enjoyed. Let's keep it somewhat positive, because the negative stuff can wait to reviews.
Manor Lords is not out. It's out on the 26th of April. Full release, no EA. I am down. Count me in. I'm going to wishlist
it. Jay Wolf says, Karak always says Dark Souls instead of Demon Souls. Okay. I'm sure
What's
I do.
Up?
Oh, he was saying
you
that
said Dark Souls instead of Demon. I knew what you were putting down.
I think everybody did, because isn't it technically just Dark Souls 1?
It's technically Dark Souls 1, but owned by Sony, so they changed it. Like all of Dark Souls was Demon Souls, but they changed to Dark Souls because Sony owns Demon Souls.
Demon Souls, right?
Yeah.
Let's
it's
see.
Like how Alex Casey is Max Payne, but they can't name him.
Oh,
Max
dude,
Payne
so true. So we'll talk about that when reviews come out. So true. Yeah. Oh, really? Rockstar owns
Max Payne. That's why they couldn't put it in the connected universe. Yeah. So Alex Casey. So Max Payne was supposed to be a character written by Alan Wake, but they can't do that anymore.
Makes total sense, man.
Yeah.
So their old boy says Alan Wake 2 after reviews, then Super Mario RPG. Dead Space remake is on Game Pass.
Shit, really?
I was not aware of that. Rogue Trader. Dominic Webb says Rogue Trader. Yeah, Rogue Trader.
Hell yeah, I can't wait for that.
That game's either gonna, they make some messy
It's gonna
games.
be buggy, man.
It's gonna be buggy, man. It's like
Owlcat, dude.
Yeah, Owlcat is. They're just It's not gonna be City Skylines 2 levels of performance, but I think everybody, when you get one of their games, you're just sort of like, all right, seems like a community effort in a weird way.
Yeah.
Josh L, $5 super chat. I know I'm late to the party, but just started BG3. After a few hours, I'm finally understanding the combat, and it's so satisfying. Thanks for the podcast. Yeah, man, shove is satisfying. I'm assuming you mean shove. That's just, whenever anybody says combat, that's the first thing. Dude, shove and enlarge. Enlarge, that was a great.
Or enlarge and jump on them,
Dude,
be a moon bear, enlarge.
It's so dumb.
Go on top of like a bunch of fucking boxes and then poof, jump on them.
Plague Soul says, I want Super Mario, Spider-Man 2, and BG3. Not sure when I'll be purchasing them. I would say that's a good order, by the way. Looking here, Super Mario Wonder, Spider-Man, and then yeah, that's a pretty good order to get them. Because Spider-Man 2 is sort of in the middle ground. You can knock it out after Super Mario Wonder, which is wonderful. Yes, it's a pun. Dude, Super Mario Wonder is tragically good. And I say tragically because I know it'll sell well for the Switch and it'll sell well. But I wonder to myself, man, if that was a Switch 2 game. Because they're doing some stuff in that game that's 2D that even I, like, as a more 3D fan, I'm like, damn. Oh, somebody says Remnant 2. Awesome. That game
I can't wait to get to that, man. I haven't played it yet, and it's on my list after, probably after Alan Wake 2, and between Alan Wake 2 and Yakuza, I'll probably play it or something. No, there's that other one as well. I'm looking forward to the Disco Elysium Fallout one.
Broken Roads, baby.
Yes. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, there's also the Invincible comes out soon, and that's the NASA retro-ish game. Yeah. So
cool colors.
I'm gonna try to cover it depending on.
I'm also excited for the climbing game.
Oh,
the climbing game,
Girats, or it's a weird.
Just or whatever.
Something like that. It's a very unique name. Yeah, there were some people who did some previews of it, and Pandora comes out. Far Cry Pandora, or whatever you want to call it. Assassin's Creed Pandora. Pandora.
The
Framinator, $2 super chat. Counter-Strike 2, Alan Wake 2, Stalker 2. Hashao Ghoul, $5 super chat. Abzi said he likes vibrations. Yet find after 30 minutes of gameplay, my mind does not equate vibrations to the gameplay. Is that the same for you? So do they wear off?
About this. Yeah, I talked about this in the last podcast. While I do really like vibrations, I think I appreciate scarcity a little bit, because they overdid it with that one. It was like you could feel someone else riding a motorcycle in a cutscene, which kind of, it's like, why am I feeling this right now? You know what I mean? I get it if it's like my character, maybe, but some stuff is over the top, and some of it is not in sync. Yeah, for sure. But no, like overall, I really like how the web swinging feels, and the fighting kind of just gels well for me.
I saw people saying that they are getting more what's the term? Notifications for YouTube. If you don't get them, you can unsubscribe and resubscribe and hit notify all. They should start coming as I continue to do stuff. Hopefully they'll even out. I do know that if you do 3 alerts, which I forgot to do the YouTube alert about this podcast, but I know that you can only do 3 in a 48-hour period, or they consider you spam. So it's like if I do a community chat and then a podcast alert and then a review. That's one reason why if you do 2 reviews in the same like 3 or 4 time span, people won't hear about the second review at all.
Right, I heard about that. Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, it sucks, but that's life. I'm used to it. DualSense triggers are far too weak. You know, I get that. So do you mean, who is this? This
like
is
battery perspective?
Rodica. Do you mean the pushback on those triggers? He says DualSense triggers are too weak to be more than a gimmick. I think he might mean the pulls. I did
like there's
not.
no real resistance.
Right, but I did Call of Duty, the one that came, the Black Ops or whatever that came out. I can't remember when, but I was playing it, and the different guns have them, and mine at least was tight enough. I actually turned it down because it was affecting my pull on the gamepad.
Gotcha.
I was like, and maybe that's how I hold the joystick. But I was like, I don't.
They
like
do it
this.
well in Call of Duty. I think I tried Modern Warfare 2 or whatever on the controller. Every gun does have like a different trigger feature thing.
And I'm sure if you get a hair trigger in a game, a lot of us, well, I say us, I don't even have this anymore, but you can do a hair trigger pull on the
that.
Yeah, and so with the PlayStation 5, they can turn that way down so it does feel like a hair trigger, which is nice. It just doesn't sell it to me, but I do know a lot of people, really seem to absolutely love them. Jay Reaper, $10 super chat. Alan Wake.
Yes, dude. Yes, dude. You can't say shit.
No, I wasn't even gonna talk about Alan Wake. I was gonna talk about something else, but I'm just gonna curb it. I think that with the no, I'm gonna say it.
All right.
I just, if they want to put all this stuff in Spider-Man and they want all the vibrations and stuff, I just wish they'd figure out their battery tech. That's it. It eats that battery so fast, it's unbelievable. And now there's a couple videos where people were like doing a time lapse of a fully charged to a dead battery with everything on max and playing, like aggressively playing. They weren't standing in place. And it definitely eats them batteries. Admittedly, I don't think a lot of people care, but for me, it was a little bothersome.
Yeah, it's crazy when you got the Nintendo Pro controller, which lasts like 2 years before it dies. So it's like it's a crazy. And that one does have pretty good haptic stuff.
And it's got gyro in the Pro, right? Yeah, it's got gyro.
Yeah, and it lasts a long ass time. Like realistically, it lasts like 20 hours or something, which is crazy. I barely ever charge it.
It could, and it's lighter, which is weird. So whatever battery tech they have in there is pretty good. Pacule90 says, did you see the PS5 needs an internet connection required to pair a disk drive and the PS5 console using setup? Yeah, I fully expected that because it is going to sync it up and register it to your account. And there's going to be all kinds of crazy stuff going on. Probably a firmware write where it like writes a firmware your account, your code. And this happens on Amazon Warehouse when you buy a used item. You will look in the reviews and people will be like, be aware. If you're buying this, there is a chance this item is registered to somebody else. And I bought 1 or 2 tablets from them.
Borrow CDs and shit anymore?
Well, what I think for this one is, I think that most likely it'll lock in the firmware down, all this kind of stuff, because they want to get on top of any further hacks of the PlayStation 5, which now we've got videos showing people. And if the CD offers any of that choice. Also, you have to prove the game is yours in the account. And so you put it in, it marks it sort of like Karak owns Assassin's Creed, and this drive read Assassin's Creed, put it into your account, that's all fine. And from that point on, it treats it like an Xbox, which I think there's probably going to be a certification time too, like 24 hours or 48 hours.
Wait, so you can get a CD and install the game and then play without the CD?
Well, that's the hope. We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But that is the hope, is that this might allow, I'm saying an allow, not a for sure, but it may allow that where it stamps it and says this is from an official Karak owns the CD. I don't know if that's true yet. I'm just talking,
I don't know if I like
stuff
that,
they
can
do.
It's kind of sus a little bit because
it's already sus with like the consoles that have them though. You always have to leave the disc in, which sort of sucks. It'd be nice to at least
it just removes the point kind of, of like sharing and sharing discs and stuff like that.
Because they don't
know how
want
that's
you
all
to
gonna
share,
work,
Abzy. That they want you to be able to buy physical, but they don't want you to share physical. They want somebody else to buy.
At the end, what's the point of getting physical at that point?
Money for them, for you as a collector, if you like collecting. That's it.
Oh,
I mean, that's why it's separate, right? That's sort of it. That's why it's separate. That's why they're like, if you want to do this, you can, and it's a premium. Is Karak going to buy the PS Portal?
Are you?
Let's talk about Karak in the third person right now. If I do, it will be for review. I am probably the most pro streamer here in our Discord and in our Patreon for sure.
Everywhere.
I could definitely see. Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I definitely love it, man. I definitely love it. But the lack of the cloud, it's just there. It's messy. So I'm not rushing out to get it.
One of the things that bothered me the most was not being able to use any Bluetooth headphones and only be able to use the $200 ones. That's the one that kind of pushed me back even more than like being like, okay, this is useless. This is going to be like a shit machine where you just use it when you're in the bathroom, right? I don't know. Also, be right back. I really, really need to go to the bathroom.
No worries. While Abzy takes a code brown break, I'm just joking. I have no clue what it is. Let me read you guys a email that was sent to me that I really think is cool. I wanted to read this. This is from Michael, who is I guess a patron, because that's how I got it, but he's a patron, he's a watcher. He says, not only reviews, but now the podcast have had me holding my gut, laughing, nodding in agreement, and yelling at the screen with some of Silver's weird takes. I watched Reg break Karak when he said Half-Life 3 would be a card game, and then Cadiz shows up, and I can always tell Karak and he are best friends forever. One of my favorite moments was Karak spilling Primal and his look of horror when Cadiz kept talking about it in the podcast. Karak, you don't like to talk about this stuff, but here goes. I'm dying of an immune system-related disease, and you've made me forget it more times than I can count. It's impossible to put it into more words, so I'll just say thank you. The importance of humor can't be lost in hearing you say enemies Peter Northing weapons out of their bodies when they die was brilliant. And you have steadfast held to that humor where others seem to be slowly hating gaming. Gaming's the last hobby I can do anymore, and I have you guys to talk about it, and I feel like a bunch of friends just bullshitting around the table at 3 a.m. So to Go Burns, Silver, Johnny, Reg, Abzy, and the Lost Cadiz, I salute you all. Also, if you have a chance, can you explain why you and your friend, or how you and your friend Randy met? You talk about him a lot, and I think he passed away, but you always seemed to have so many stories about him. If you don't mind, you don't have to if it's uncomfortable. Thank you first, man. And sorry you're dealing with that. You can DM me anytime if you want to talk about that stuff, because I know what it's like going through some weird life stuff. Randy and I met in grade school because I was playing the Sega Genesis. He was a Sega Genesis fan, and as you guys know, when you're younger and you're in school, console wars are real until you grow up. So Randy and I, that's how we met, and we were great friends. Randy was a complicated guy, and I've talked about this before. The reason why I talk about him a lot in the podcast is because he had come into my life and out of my life. We had some issues at times. He was a difficult person to sort of lock down to one thing. And I would say he was a little bit up and down at times. But I don't believe in kismet or anything like that. But I will say that my two friends that are most complicated have gone years without talking to them because of that complication. And suddenly, in the middle of a store, twice now, at 3 or 4 a.m. while I'm getting food, I bumped into him and started talking to him again. And one of my friends, that's what happened. It was like 3 a.m. in the middle of a Dairy Mart grocery store in a city that was unconnected to both of us, and there he was. And with Randy, it was the same way. And luckily, I got to hang out with Randy. We did GTA 5. We did games, board games and stuff right before he passed away. And I do thank whatever that we got to, we got to sort of hang out. Because if that had happened, I don't know if I would have regretted it, because complicated people, you don't have to fight against that relationship and try to be friends with them forever. But with our complications, I grew up and learned to ignore it, and he grew up. And I think when I talked to him, he was pretty, I guess the term would be at peace. I didn't know he was that sick. He was sick, but it was very cool to finally get to talk to him. And he genuinely, the guy was just a hilarious guy. I mean, he was 330, he was 6'4", and I was always accustomed to being the big guy, and I remember we would wrestle, and that dude would shirk you off because he was accustomed to being heavy. And it was so funny because we would wrestle as adults. Like, it was stupid. It was like two cousins at a family reunion or something. But it was one of the greatest times to do that one last time. And yeah, man, he was a good guy. So thank you, Michael. Again, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. Hopefully that stuff can get fixed. I was reading a patron email. Gotcha. Guys passing away, and he was saying that he did say, I want to say this to you. He said, because this is to everybody, so I'll send it to Go Burns too. He said, so to Go Burns, Silver, Johnny, Reg, and Absy, and the Lost Cadiz, I salute you all. So he's watched us for years. He's unfortunately sick now. Anyway, let's get on to some positive stuff. I did want to read that. I didn't see all of it, but I definitely appreciate people who have a good time because we're hanging out and talking. Speaking of that, let's hang out and talk about something more positive.
Yeah.
So after the Portal, PSVR, the PS Portal, shit. I have a question to you. Do you see Xbox doing anything like this? Because there was nothing in the FTC. There were nothing in the documents indicating a VR or anything like that.
I don't think so. I think even Phil Spencer was talking about how he just likes that, he always talks about how he wants, a lot of people to play Xbox games or whatever, and talked about how Game Pass is available throughout, like, all these handhelds coming out. Yeah. He was, like, using the Asus ROG or whatever and just talking about it. And I think it's just that they're just going to be open source with it ish, like the Microsoft thing where they don't deal with the hardware. They're just there in whatever device you get, and any device you get, you can get Game Pass on it. So yeah, I think that I don't see them doing like a dedicated portable.
So I don't know if you saw this, but the Xbox controller that was leaked in the PDF, one of the things I was trying to point out is if you look at it closely, you can see where they're headed. One of the things it states as a bullet point is connect anywhere on the cloud with this device. So my opinion is going to be that goes directly to Xbox Live, does cloud on, and they've in some way. On the
controller itself?
On the controller, yeah. Yeah, it states very clearly. Right. Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how Microsoft, really cool. They've already teamed up with, G Cloud. They've teamed up with Samsung and others. I think they're just going to say this controller works in this way, doesn't need an Xbox, and all you need is the app, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Weirdly, that reminded me of a thing. Did you ever get like a watch back in the day that had like a remote control on it, and you'd go like a mall or whatever, and you could just control random TVs?
No, I've never seen that, but that's awesome. Generic controllers can do that. So
yeah. So in my head, I was like, oh, imagine this controller. You could just connect it to any screen you see, just walk around with it, just play your game, hog someone else's screen. Squatters, right?
I remember I would hack my parents' TVs when I would come over with a generic controller. No, we always mess up those things. I get the big ones that it's got 1,000 buttons. You enter a code, figure out what television, and then I piss my dad off by turning off the sound on football games. That dude loses. I don't do it anymore because he's a little older. But when he was younger, it was actually hilarious to do. No, I've never seen that. I did have a watch that did have a controller on it, but I think it was for the Amazon thing, and or maybe it was Siri. I can't remember, but I never used it because honestly, I love watches, but I'm not a big fan of digital ones with button like this little small screens. I use the Fitbit, but not for anything other than tracking. I wouldn't use it. Right. Denovan will come over and his is like, you fucking sundial. And like, I'm not lying, across the room, if he does this, you can perfectly read what time it is. Like everybody in the universe knows exactly. It's massive. Shit. It is. Yeah, it's easily like the round top of a can. Like it is uncomfortably large. The sleeve bulges out.
Yeah. Mine is
pretty
like
crazy.
Small-ish.
Oh yeah, what's yours?
Garmin.
I like the red on that. You had red on. See, that's you got a little cyberpunk going on.
Yeah. Change the theme.
Let's see. People are arguing about consoles. When has that not happened?
Console
right?
warriors. You guys
let's move on, my
companies
friends.
that don't give a fuck about you. Okay.
You're just joking. You care about everybody. Xbox partnered with Meta to have Game Pass on Quest 3. You're absolutely right, and that's something I forgot. Yeah. So Meta is gonna or Quest is gonna have Xbox Game Pass. I gotta admit to you, I'm not gonna want to put a headset on to play an Xbox arcade game, or like cloud.
Yeah. So
a
you just
device
put a
in my
Meta
hands.
on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm
like,
worried about
there be
latency and right, like black smear, gray smear, whatever you call it. There's a lot of stuff I probably would not mess with that. Would not want to.
Yeah, I don't want to fuck with streaming on a VR headset. Like that's something I don't want to touch.
Yeah, it's something that I would steer clear of. What about you guys in chat? Are you excited for new hardware from either one of the companies? The Portal? Did you get a PSVR 2? And what are you playing if you did? Because I don't even know what's even available on that thing. And then Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch 2. Are you getting that? Nintendo Switch 2 is getting me excited. It's finally getting me a little bit
I can't wait
riled
for
up.
them to announce it, man. Just go ham and be like, boom, boom. We got DLSS 3.5, boom, boom, RTX, boom, boom, good NVIDIA chip.
I hope
I
hope the boot sound for the Switch 2 is boom, boom. You turn it on, it's all boom, boom. It's a little like Theo saying gang, gang. It's just like boom, boom.
Yeah.
And that's
boom,
it.
Boom.
What I did talk about in the chat, I don't know if you were in there, my personal belief is when they fix online communications, because it's terrible on Nintendo.
Oh, God, they're in the 90s still.
Right, but you know what's dawned on me? I don't use online communication in any game anyway. So all I'm going to do is give them a kudo and then never use it. I do not use console chat ever.
Like voice chat?
Never.
See, in the 360 days, I did a lot. Like
So
when
did
I
I.
was new to online gaming, and I met a lot of people, and we'd play like random Perfect Dark.
Do you guys in
Co-op
chat
and
use it?
Terrorist
Continue,
Hunt,
sorry. Mhm.
Rainbow Six Vegas 2, all the good times. Nowadays, it's only in competitive games where I would like Counter-Strike. I use it. I definitely have to talk in Counter-Strike. Other than that, like I play a lot of Dark Tide, and I never use voice chat. You're probably right. Like I don't use it as much. If I do, it's with friends on Discord.
Discord has changed it. Yeah. Discord has changed a bunch of stuff. It's changed talking about games. It's changed, and I'm not a fan of Discord's got 1,001 issues too. But when it comes to voice chat, I mean, even people are even if they're streaming console games, I'm usually like, well, figure out a way. I've had people who I know are using like a headset and then the earplugs so they can hear the game in the headset and then use the headset to hear Discord.
I did that at one point. Dude,
I'm sure a bunch of people who played on console couldn't
what
figure
I
it out.
do now, by the way, is literally I have my headphones. So I have my headphones going into my DAC, and then I have my DAC going into my tube amp, and then out of my tube amp I have a splitter, and one of it goes to my my PC. No, one of it goes to my headphones. Wait, where does the splitter go? Okay, whatever. Anyways, I'm able to play PS5 while listening to PS5 audio and also listening to PC audio.
Yeah, that's what I use as a splitter or a joiner, dependingly. And using those does help. A splitter is awesome coming out of the back of your PC. You can run it to your amp, run it to speakers,
and it
if
works
that's what
really
you want
well. Like it just works fine. But except that when there's sound coming out of my PS5, my PC audio lowers.
Oh, you have attenuation.
Side chains it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, side chains it.
And you can definitely turn that up or down in Discord, which is nice. You can have it, you know, if I talk, if they talk, that kind of stuff, and it attenuates really well. Not really well, but it attenuates, and I wish it had a fade, because it's pretty hard. I've noticed the attenuation, like, when a game comes up, it'll be just, it'll just dive the, it'll be like, wait, what just happened? I wish it was a little bit of a little softer, but it does require some tech. Do you guys use in chat? Does anybody here in chat use, well, first of all, Switch's stuff? I don't even know where it is now. Do you use PlayStation 5 or Xbox's game chats, or have you also switched to, to Discord or anything like that? Like, it's interesting to know. Billy Wrist, who's in our Discord, has been for a long time. I've got an analog mixer, annoying with line noise though. So just so you know, there are 3.5 the little millimeter filters you can get, and all they are is magnetized, some kind of one of the magnet types. You clip it over the wire, and it drops its decibels by about 1. I did notice just a small dip, but it removes ground and those that you might be able to hear in the background. Yeah, and they're like $4.
Yeah,
so that's
they're very
awesome.
cheap.
I never use chat. Discord on PS5. There you go. If I played Battlefield, I would use it. Discord, PC. I never use voice chat. I do use PS messaging on Oh my God, do you know what? I don't even know how to get to messaging on my PS5 anymore.
Dude, it's so annoying when people.
I'm trying to remember.
So I've discovered. So I have the PS app on my phone. If somebody texts me I'm not going. I hate going through the keyboard on a controller. I
Right.
literally just would text back on my phone instead. Because I have the thing for rewards, right? You can earn points and then turn in points for money. Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much steer clear of it completely. I just don't really mess with it. Moving on from there, I wanted to talk about something awesome. We've talked about it before with MMOs. So I saw this on VentureBeat. A company called Hathara is doing multiplayer testing. So you can hire them to test your game for stability when it launches. And they just did a 1 million person simulator for a game called Frost Giant, or a developer called Frost Giant. So like an MMO RTS where you have, people love it, Diablo, where 1 million people are going to sign in right away. This new AI tech goes out and it basically fakes, 1 million people trying to get in at the exact same time.
Oh, that would be huge.
Yeah, and it's called Hathara.
That would be like that would be
Wouldn't it
massive,
be awesome to
dude.
not
That
have a
would
queue
be
or
huge.
whatever and not have to worry about, you just go in and it's like up and running?
Not have to, because dude, the thing, I keep saying this, but there's probably new people here. The thing about server issues is that it's just all so unique to the game or the build that you're running. Every update, it's not just about server space or buying more servers. Sometimes it can be, but so much can go wrong when a lot of people are playing your game on the network. So you're always going to see issues. You know what I mean? So if they could do that that would be the solution. That would be the real solution. That would be insane.
It would be awesome.
Games stop releasing with server issues, man.
Yeah, because the more people who want to get in, you just want them to get. It's like we just want them to get in.
yeah, of course. Nobody wants you to have server issues. That's like a nightmare.
Says something that I thought as well. Rent a DDoS. That is pretty much
yes,
what it is.
Dude.
I mean, that is pretty much what it is. Speaking of that,
dude.
I forgot to say this. If you guys get a chance, can you guys go to Apple, iTunes, Spotify, whatever, and review the podcast? I would appreciate it. Leave an honest review. But reviews help the channel go up, and we've almost got number 1 a couple times. So I would definitely appreciate it if you guys review it, even if it's an honest review and you're like, I'm tired of hearing these two friggin' dildos talk, whatever. Well, not two. I shouldn't out Absy on just the Wednesday podcast. He's nice enough to show up, so I definitely appreciate
Wait, what
that.
the heck?
What?
What do you mean you outed me?
No, I said I don't want to out you because I said these two dildos, and I'm like, technically on Friday there's 4 of us. So I was just making sure you didn't think that like I was being a jerk to you. When I was playing Destiny 2, I was playing on PS5. My friends on Xbox, I used to have to go to voice chat from my phone. Man, those are the days. Those are the days. Remember when Destiny 1 was on the 360? Man, back in the day.
I thought it was a next.
It was on 360, and then basically after only 1 or 2 updates, they were like, "Nah, we're done." And they just
I didn't even know it was on the older gen.
So, did you hear about the layoffs for Media Molecule, a couple other companies this week?
So, who is Media Molecule?
PlayStation's Build Anything side-scrolling game, the big one.
Oh, the Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet, yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, just another company with layoffs. Yeah, I think we're still gonna keep seeing more and more of that. Yeah, it's just a normal thing now.
It sucks though, man. It's like
it does for sure. It sucks for a lot of people.
Because I don't know if you saw this, but I was talking about the amount of money in gaming right now. Like Microsoft's revenue's gone up, even despite having a drop in hardware.
Everyone's
their
in
revenue's
profit
insane. Mode. And then our unfavorite game, Lords of the Fallen, cost $66 million. It's the biggest game by. What are they called? CIS.
Oh, man.
Biggest game ever by CIS.
Ooh,
$66 million for a
it looks like a AA game, let's be frank.
At times not performance wise, but animations. Yeah, but I mean that shows how much a game can cost now. $66 million. That is
man.
That's a boatload of cash, man. Like I think a lot of people think a game like that is maybe 20 or 30 or 40, and I think some are. But to see a game like that and then their PR and all that stuff, this didn't not include PR, but they've sold 1 million despite Steam reviews, which I think indicate Steam reviews don't always reflect.
If they've sold 1 million, that means they've just, not counting overhead and stuff.
Right. That's the thing is I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. That is one of the things that you cannot quite figure out is what it costs. And then they used to say 50% PR. So if you did, 100%. So if you did 60 million, it was 60 million for PR. I think it's down to 25%, but still a lot of money.
Wait, I thought it was always like the rule of thumb is 50% marketing, 50%.
Used to be.
Budget.
It's definitely lowered on the PR side. Like multiple companies have talked
about.
Yeah,
because now they're utilizing
up
streamers.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, why rent to a TV show on CBS when you can have a couple streamers stream it to
or the Times Square,
two or three, or Times Square. Yeah, I think we saw that with Spiderman. They love their Times Square
and
stuff.
Diablo. Yeah.
Did we see it with Diablo?
Yeah, I remember when the weather shit was going, and in Times Square it was like all red and stuff, and then you see the Diablo.
True. And then Xbox and Sony both
thematic.
took over the globe in Vegas too, and put their.
Oh shit! Did they?
So I have a question for you. Have you ever walked by an advertisement and thought, "Man, I wasn't thinking about getting, a cyclovir for herpes, but now that there's a poster, I'll probably buy it." Have you ever seen a poster ever in a like for a game or maybe a movie, but a game?
No, definitely not games, because we're in the industry. We're kind of just like tapped into that.
So we're always talking about them.
No, not really. I mean, for a product, more often than not, I have, obviously for advertisements. Yeah, I have seen stuff, but I can't think of like a poster. I mean, there's an image on a magazine, maybe. Like I remember back in the day when I saw the picture of the Heelys. Remember the Heelys with the wheel in the back of the shoe with the wheel in the
back of the shoe. Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw that in a magazine and people riding them, and I was like, damn, I really want one, and I got one. So there's that.
So you got one. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody in chat, have you ever looked at something and been like, man, I wasn't thinking about getting it. I guess it just doesn't work on me. The last advertisement I remember 100% was in a magazine for Forsaken. And it's because the model on the front was every puberty triggering bit of human flesh I think I've ever seen in my life. And I remember opening the page to this model, and she had like a heart on her cheek, and whatever it was about her was everything I liked. And I remember going, what the hell? And I definitely checked out that game. Yeah. Ads remind me things exist. Well, I mean, maybe that's the thing.
That is a thing. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like,
Go ahead.
It's weird. It's weird. Because like I tell myself like, oh, advertisements, but then they do cost a lot, so they must see return from that.
Right.
Like there has to be return from that, right?
Well, so here's my question. Are they seeing the return they used to, or is everybody so stuck in their traditions that maybe that's still popping up, and somebody like Lords of the Fallen figured out, oh, we don't.
Or Baldur's Gate, right?
Or
just
Baldur's
do a
Gate.
stream and show bear sites.
Yeah.
That's like a new thing. Yeah, I know. I mean, I think the smarter thing to do, especially for games, the smarter way to go about it is do the streamer shits. The sponsored shit. Yeah. Way better than like just advertising outside. But it can just like contribute to hype. Maybe there's something to do with like hype psychology and game sales or something like that. Where
Hush
it gets
Al Ghul,
more people talking.
I think the person in here who said it versus alerting them to something new, it might remind them, that they missed something. Hush Al Ghul, $2 super chat. With me, it happens with food. It happens with food. What do you mean? You mean you see an advertisement and you're like, I am hungry.
Or see a picture of like a burger and be like, oh, I want to go have that burger.
Really? Wow.
You've never had that?
No. I mean, no. Like Dairy Queen had this fake world made of chocolate and ice cream, and they had this like camera pan down the chocolate. I don't know any other way to say this without it sounding sexual, but down a chocolate river, through a chocolate canal. It was every sexual innuendo you could think of. That got me to want chocolate for sure. Like it got me the sweet,
but
where
not their chocolate.
True. Yeah. True. Yeah. If there was chocolate, I would go for the chocolate that was attainable easily versus the chocolate that, because our Dairy Queen was 4 miles away, and this is not a brag, but I had to walk. So it was like when you went to Dairy Queen, it was usually like, we ain't just getting chocolate, man. We're getting burgers.
Right.
Did you have a hangout joint when you were a kid? One particular place?
I don't know. Me and oh man, when I was in grade 12, I believe, we would sometimes ditch the first period to go to a Krispy Kreme and smoke cigarettes and eat donuts.
Cream, baby.
Krispy Kreme? Was it
Yeah.
Krispy Kreme? Yeah,
It was Krispy Kreme,
yeah, and
for
just
sure. Yeah.
Get a dozen donuts. Damn, I was fat. And then we had like KFC after. Damn, yeah, I ate a lot of bad food, dude. Then we had KFC after school. Dude, we would go to KFC and eat like a bucket of fried chicken and smoke cigarettes before going to the gym. It's so weird, dude. I would never do that anymore, like right now. My God.
It is so funny
my
the
God.
way, and some people's metabolism don't work, but you'd see, you know, in the same way. But yeah, when you were a kid and you'd see what you ate or whatever, and you'd look at it and
It's
be like,
disgusting.
that's,
Oh,
dude, I used to
can't
put
handle
down,
that.
especially
Yeah.
when we were heavy lifting, 2 Super Supreme Pizza Hut pizzas by myself. That's like 9,000
man.
calories. Yeah. And then
Right.
we would go running. And I got to admit, it was the best running I ever did. I was putting in good times. I think it was because, you know, you got calories. You're never on an empty stomach. You don't have to
Right.
worry about. But I remember running with, her name was Wanda. She's passed away. But I remember one time running and she was like, "Did you eat a lot?" And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "I can hear it sloshing around in you." Because we were just running
man.
by ourselves, no music on. And it's just,
Yeah.
How old is Absy? You guess. Don't
I
say.
am-
You don't say. People guess how old Absy is. And nothing under 18, nothing over 40. So I'll give you those hints. Because I think I remember.
I don't know, man. You forget the time zones like every 2 seconds. So
Yeah, but those don't
maybe you
matter to
forget
me
ages
because
as well.
my time zone is mine. You guys need to figure it out.
Oh yeah,
That's ego.
yeah. That's how we
Yeah,
communicate with you. We're like, hey, it's a 10:30, 9:30, 10. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, you do communicate
Oh
online.
my God.
So here we go.
Some people got it, dude.
Yeah.
So whoa, wow.
Whoa,
A
somebody
lot of
guessed
people got it.
35. Hush out Ghoul. Man, he doesn't like you at all.
Jesus,
He's like,
Jesus, do I look that old? Damn, a lot of
Let me
people got it
guess.
right away, dude.
because I don't think we talk about this very often. But let me guess. I would say 28. Are you 28? Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
I'm turning 29 next
in November.
month.
Yep, next month.
Yeah. Congratulations, you all get Alan Wake for free, by the way.
Wow. Yeah, that's not happening.
I'm kidding. Don't quote me.
You all get Alan Wake 1, and it's on Game Pass. I'm just joking. I don't think it is, unfortunately, anymore. Krispy Kreme and Sigs. And then Enrique says 30. You guys are all really close.
Yeah, so close.
But yeah, I think with ads, the only time I've ever been hungry in an ad actually is a game ad. Final Fantasy XIV's food. Their food was so well done. Their pictures of
Or
when
15?
you buy their was it 15 with the
Yeah, the
boy
boy
band?
band.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
15.
yeah.
And I remember
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
it and
yeah.
just
So
going,
good.
"Oh, dude, I'm actually sort of hungry."
Yeah, dude.
I'm
Yeah,
actually sort of
yeah. Also, there's this anime called Doro, and it's kind of the same thing where you see that like gyoza, which is I think what the fuck is gyoza? It's like beef pastries or whatever. And for some reason, like everything's cartoon, but those gyozas are like live not real live action, but they're presented in a way like in Final Fantasy 15, where
Right.
it's like it's just like, you know, it's there, it's real, and you really want it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it was about 15s, but man, I remember looking around at the foods on the dishes and stuff and just being, not salmon, because that was the first food I bought, I remember, and being like, oh, but they did have a lot of really cool, like, actually tasty looking food. They did a good job. They spent more on the polygons in that game than like Callisto Protocol did and half of the shit
Yeah.
they did. That was,
Yeah.
it was
Well-
nuts how much they put into that.
Yeah, that's literally what they did with the original release of Final Fantasy 14, and they put so many polygons in like baskets and stuff, more than like characters, where it just caused the game to run like shit before they scrapped it all.
Yeah.
That was funny, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate, like when you see where some things are spent and other things, and you're like, seriously,
Yeah,
why did you
dude.
spend, even, I'm not talking about movie stars because that's a completely separate thing. What have you, we never talked about this. What have you been playing this? You got a new PC. Everybody, Absy he's a member of, we don't like to say,
Oh God, don't
MC,
say it.
that's a little bad, but we will say he's now a member of the upper echelon of gaming. So
The upper echelon. man. I can sit on my high horse and be like, requirements. I don't even need to see requirements.
I don't even need to look at requirements, man.
No, it's really cool. I worked very hard for the past year and to do this, and you know, I haven't had this feeling since 2015 when I got the 980 Ti, where I was like, I could just run everything. Ever since then, it was just, you know, I got like the 2080, but after the 30s came out and they were like, you know, not the super even, you know, so no, it's a really, really great feeling. And I you know, Red Dead 2 played it with like a lot of visual mods and running a lot of games I did play on like 160 FPS. Dude, I'm running Control with ray tracing at 160 FPS. I do have DLSS quality, but honestly, I switched between DLSS quality and native so many times that like I really have to pixel peep like a motherfucker,
right,
to really, really, really tell the difference. So I'm choosing to refresh or FPS peak rather than pixel peep, and I prefer the 160 FPS over the 120 FPS. So so I'm like I'm enjoying that. You know, I'm just fucking around a lot until Alan Wake 2 comes out, and really that's the next game that's gonna really, you know, push my hardware there.
And you did say that, like, you had planned a while ago that this was for Alan Wake, or at least like I thought you had
for
said
Stalker
this was
2.
Right? No, you did.
Yeah,
we did talk about Alan Wake, but you did say Stalker 2 was the one you actually planned for.
Yeah, for a long time, I've been saving to get this PC for a Stalker 2 because I've just been waiting for that game for so long. But then, so I was gonna wait, but I saw Alan Wake 2 and saw what it was doing with NVIDIA and all that stuff, and I was like, you know, I love Remedy so much. I'm a huge fan of Control, huge fan of Alan Wake, huge fan of Max Payne, and I was like, fuck it, you know, I have the money now, and I'll just do it now, and you know, went forward with it.
Muttley Griffin, evening guys, great to hang out. Thanks for joining. Go ahead, Absy. Just want to say
it's kind of like eating me a little bit from the inside, where I'm constantly checking event viewers, seeing if there's any errors or warnings, and you always get like those random ass warnings and stuff where I Google them and then I just get nothing or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm all constantly checking my temps, even though they're always fine. I constantly worry about something being wrong with the PC, but I think everything is fine, you know? Yeah.
I mean, you also, when you put money into, you know, because we finally got a car after 3 years without a second one, and even when I drive it, I'm like checking everything, even though I should. I mean, they've got enough warnings. The damn thing is going to tell you, you know, anything. It'll get, but I do the same thing. Whenever you put money into it, you're more, you know, a little bit more worried about it, a little bit cautious.
But I have a 2-year warranty, like for anything that goes wrong, so I'm happy about that.
2 years is not a short amount of time in computer gaming either. Like 2 years is, you know, something could go drastic. When AOE's first started, so did Cadiz. We both bought one from a company that's not even in business anymore, and they both leaked everywhere. Like, I remember it was a little warm, and I looked down at the case, took the case off, and it was like it had sprayed all over everything. You know, it had become a mess. So 2 hours is, or 2 years isn't bad at all. ACG, Alan Wake 2 review goes live. The embargo data is out there. I believe mine's already done. I
know
remember the time I
Thursday
said 6 a.m. or 8 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah.
Cool.
It won't go out. It won't go early by 12 hours like Bloodborne. I've learned my lesson. Learned my lesson on that one. What a terrible day that was.
I hope Stalker 2 is good. Me too, man. Oh, me too.
Stalker 2, I think that all the tech that we've got in the last couple years, Stalker 2 has all the ability to be exactly what we want. Maybe not go too far, but be like, here's a simulated world, here's a blah, 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 and actually not try to do unbelievable stuff and be a very awesome just Stalker 2.
Yeah.
And not
Dude,
something...
I'd be happy with the AI life from 1. It was fantastic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that now we're so far beyond that in tech that if they aim at just delivering Stalker 2 and not delivering, well, sort of like what we said, the new benchmark, you know, we see that a lot of times. And don't shoot low like the City Skylines guys who are like, 30 FPS is what we're aiming for.
Dude, what happened there?
I don't know.
What the fuck? What?
I don't know. 2023 is not the year to tell everyone that 30 FPS on a 4090 is what you're aiming for. Like,
what were they doing?
I don't know. And they don't have mesh shaders to fall back on like Alan Wake is good.
Jesus.
Jesus. Yeah, it's crazy. And it is bad.
Man.
Like, we had people in our Discord going, holy Christ, like I've got a beast
that's ridiculous.
System.
Yeah.
So what else is that pretty much what you've been playing?
I've been absorbed.
Week?
I'm just Remedies all up in my head, man. I've been, reading a lot of, stuff and watching a lot. I watched like the web series of the prequel of Alan Wake, which was fantastic. It's really good web series. And then just dove back into Control, kind of, because like the FBC is just kind of like the they're the people, they're the agents who deal with all this shit, like the Alan Wake, like the Cauldron Lake is a place of power, and
AWEs.
and you know, his light switch is an object of power. And I didn't realize, but in Alan Wake, like the agent that was helping you, I think she was the sheriff, her dad worked at the FBC, and like she told Barry to call him. So there's all these connections, and I'm kind of just like, you know, in that world right now, just kind of exploring all the stuff. I don't plan on, like, I just beat it last week, so I'm just in that game just to kind of, because I'm like, my head is all wrapped around that lore and stuff like that. So yeah, until Alan Wake 2 comes out in 2 days, so I'm just very, very hyped. Yeah.
What are you guys playing in chat, by the way, currently? I've been playing, so Alan Wake's done. I'll do some more, obviously, but I've gone back and just swung around in Spiderman. I did a bunch of Starfield, No Man's Sky. I don't know why I went to No Man's Sky. Midnight Suns, like I said. This has sort of been the week where now that Spider-Man's out, Alan Wake's coming, that there's sort of not a break, I guess. I don't know. That's not really the proper way to say it. There's not necessarily a break, but there's a little bit of a pause to where I can sit down and maybe play a game.
Less saturation.
Yeah, and I can play a game that maybe I've already played before without feeling like I need to cover something, or I don't know how to describe it. There's just a nice momentary pause for the next, like...
Yeah.
I mean, there's still games coming out, but they're not... Because there was a couple weeks there where it was like, all right, so I'll be working 7 days a week.
October was fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a couple where it was pretty ridiculous. And especially because, like, consumers don't have... I mean, unless they're rich, they don't have the $600 to buy 10 games.
Or the time.
Or the time, yeah. And so that's the way I've been doing it, too, is just sitting back playing some older games. No Man's Sky was fun. I only returned to it for a small amount of time, and I want to see how it looks streaming. And it looks good. But, man, dude, anytime you shoot a gun in that, you're just like, wow, this is not what this game was for. You know, anytime you meet the Guardians, you're like, Like, this is, it just, dude, I run. I'm like,
can you like disable all that stuff?
You can now, right? in your options. I leave it on because I do like the idea that I can't just like destroy animals. I have no issue with that. There is a little risk, but man, the combat in that game is terrible. It's terrifyingly bad. It's like the one place where I can fully say that despite it not being perfect, Starfield just trumps it. Like it's not even on the same, like in the same way, in the same discussion. And No Man's Sky 2, if there ever was one, I've wondered if they will even add it, because I think Sean Murray's idea was the more placid, more laid back experience of exploration. So I don't know if that's ever, it not only was it super not important, but I don't think it will be.
I wonder if, you know, they've had so many fantastic free updates. I wonder if they're ever just going to charge for like a big ass expansion, or what that would look like. Like at this point, if you expect a expansion sized update, what would you expect out of an expansion? You know what I mean? I hope they do, because I think at this point, like, they deserve some money. I mean, they've been working for free for so fucking long. Obviously, more people are buying their games and they got Game Pass money and yada yada. But you know, at the consumer endpoint, like, they've been working for free for so long.
Yeah.
So I want them to make like a massive expansion or something, blow everyone's minds away.
It reminds me of Dying Light 1 with 10 years of support, and you know, you look at it, you're like, whoa, that's had support for that. Oh, that's another one, Dead Island 2's DLC that adds a whole bunch of shit. So that's also, I don't know how anybody's going to have the time. Zendel says, did you see Paradox and Harebrained Schemes are parting ways? We did. We talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Not that, and that's not a dig. I'm just saying we did. We talked about it a little bit last week, and it sucks. It's funny that a dev from Harebrained said they had wished Microsoft had stepped in, even though they hated the, you know, consolidation. They were like, man, at this point, you know, when it's, and we talked about this how many times on the podcast, where it's like, listen, guys, I know you hate consolidation, but if a company's going to go away and like another company says, hey, you're not working on anything, do you want to work on a game? I'm 100% for that company getting paid. You know, if like those guys are trying to pay their rent, it only makes sense. What's your thoughts on Quantum Error? Jeff B Gaming asks. That's
Quantum what?
Quantum Error. It's, dude, it's like it's like all the games that came out a couple months ago. It's sort of a not walking sim, I don't want to say that, but it's like the cinematic walking around, uncovering a story kind of games. I'm trying to even think. I think it comes out in a week or so. But
this looks pretty cool, man. What is this? This looks like Doom 3-ish, but with like more wacky stuff.
Yeah, but it's you mean atmosphere?
Environmental. Atmosphere. You breathe into the mic and
you breathe into the mic. Yep. Yeah, it's got a lot of different stuff. It looks like a game it's trying to do a lot, which I think
Cosmic Horror Journey.
Awesome.
Is it just a PS5 exclusive?
It is not. I think they had some issues with the Xbox. They might have been one of the first ones to say they're having some issues with the S, because I think the Xbox version might have been delayed a little bit. But,
Gotcha. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I
like,
never
is
knew
it like
about
Heavy
this.
Rain? Enrique says no, it is not.
No.
It
looks
is
like a first-person perspective, kind of. It looks like Scorn-ish.
Or that Station that I played and reviewed, Lost Station or whatever, which was I believe a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Or you could say, oh, you know what? It's a little bit like The Witness or Firehouse, whatever the hell.
Oh,
that
I love
one
The
was.
Witness, dude.
What's the Fire one? Firewatch. So it's a little
Firewatch.
Yeah, but with action.
Okay. Yeah. I love The Witness, dude. I think it's a fantastic puzzle game.
Hey, ACG and Absy, I'm really enjoyed Spider-Man 2 currently. Also, very excited for Alan Wake 2. Are you both picking this up, and did you enjoy the original? I think he's talking about Alan Wake 2.
As I said, I love Remedy games. I'm down to pick up all their games. And I am picking up Alan Wake 2. Karak already, you'll see tomorrow. His review's coming out tomorrow, so
yeah, check out the review. I would appreciate it.
Yeah.
I would appreciate it, especially with all those shorts from hot girls and handsome guys beating out videos.
Hell yeah, dude.
Taking my video views. You gotta drop in and watch the review. I think with Alan Wake, though, one thing I'm also in, there's two games, Starfield's DLC and then Alan Wake's DLC, if there is any. I'm interested to see DLC for some reason, which is normally what I'm not into. But I've actually found myself looking at DLCs. For example, Dying Light 2, they have a bunch. And then, like I said, Dead Island 2's DLC. I don't know why, but...
recently, me too. And actually, ever since... Remember Praise Mooncrash DLC?
Yeah.
Prior to that, I never did DLC.
Right.
I never... But then after that, I was like kind of paying attention to DLC more, because that one like it just blew my mind. And then Hitman's DLC blew my mind, and all those DLCs that added like other gameplay modes and stuff like that, I just really appreciate. You know what I mean? So I've been looking at those too. I haven't gone to the Resident Evil one yet. I loved that game, but
what was that called? Character. It's Ada Wong's DLC, isn't it?
Yeah, Ada Wong's story. Yeah. I like that game a lot, and but the Ada's voice actress talks in lowercase, so it's
dude, you get those people who are like reading from a table. They're like, walked. Oh, sorry, that's not what I'm supposed to say. It's what I'm supposed to do. And he was just like, Jesus Christ, dude, man. Some of these are delivered with really low effort. People were asking me how long Alan Wake is. I can't say. I will say what really, it didn't even stun me. It disappointed me. Like, Dad is disappointed. But I admit, man, I'll play a 12-hour. If the campaign is awesome, I'll play a 12. We've talked about this forever. But Call of Duty has shorter campaigns, and if I like them, I'll play them, and I'll think the game is worth my cash. With Spider-Man, I saw people who weren't even playing the game. They were doing just the platinums, and they were like, I got it in 14 hours or whatever, and it's unworthy of $60 for 14 hours. And I was like, here's the problem I have with achievements, man. Developers see that, and over time, you see some developers who are padding games out. Some developers who we've heard it with American sitcoms. I don't know if you've heard this, but American sitcoms and TV shows have been told to dumb it down because people just want the hot points. They don't want talking between points. And I'm like, what? That's my favorite. Obviously, we like Lost and the things that cause us to be really dialed in. But I watched the behind the scenes on Lost, and guess what they were told the first week? They were like, you need to dumb it down because people might bounce from this. And it just feels like with games, in particular, platinums and achievements, as well as microtransactions, they're like like a two-hit combo that I just dislike in games, man. I feel microtransactions are less of an issue now, probably because there's rules around them, and I'm starting to become more bothered when I see people talking about achievements.
Our discussion.
Yeah,
achievements, dude.
And when I ask somebody, like we just had somebody in Discord and they were like, hey, I beat this game and it wasn't Spider-Man, but they beat it in like 14 hours. And I was like, what did you think about that? And they're like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, dude, You had to get an achievement
because
to
they're just
get
following
that.
achievements.
Because they're following the achievement and they're not playing the game.
A big issue as well that arises from that is they set these like pseudo weird 100% things where it's like, is it really 100% if you go through all the achievements, or like is like punching enemies 5 times and like in the sky like indicative of 100% of a game? There's all these like weird things. I don't mind achievements that much when they pop up. For example, like sometimes they have cool little quips, like when I beat Spider-Man, a really cool quote came up or whatever, which was like a theme of the game, and I appreciate that. But it's so weird with platinum games, like with the platinum thing, because you don't know if someone's just like chasing the trophies, going through a guide that could affect the time, and it's just all muddied up. For me, Spider-Man took me around 20 hours. I didn't 100% it or whatever. I did all the things in the map, I know that. I did all the things on the way to missions and stuff. But by the end of those 20 hours, I was like, yeah, it's I don't want more. This is good. It's time for me to put it down. It was awesome and it's great, So I felt.
Did you get all the
it's good for what it was?
Or were there some that you had left unlocked? Yeah.
There's some that I didn't buy. Yeah, there's some that I didn't get, but I did hit max level, which was weird because at level 58, I had all the skills. So 59 and 60 gave me 2 extra skill points that I had nowhere to put it in.
Which interesting. I didn't track that. I'll have to look.
Yeah.
Maybe that's for DLC, but
maybe.
So just so everybody knows the length, what I was complaining about was Spider-Man. Not Alan Wake, 'cause I can't talk about the length of that game, but I will also say that when it comes to length, I've had some of you guys, when you're talking about a game, and I'm like, how the hell did you spend that much time in this game, blah, 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 whatever. And then you guys will be like, oh, wow, you got through this game really quick. What's interesting to me is it's like review aggregates now, where it's like, this took this, we're done. And you're like, dude, that's the starting of a discussion, not the end of a discussion, that's the starting. But it allows people to sort of draw a line in the sand that, at least I worry that a lot of developers might, not that they'll lose sight, because I think developers working on something for 4 years know that a tangential conversation about Spider-Man won't affect them in 3 years. But it is an odd conversation, man, because the number of people, and you know me, I'll mess up a name, or sometimes on purpose to piss people off, but sometimes not. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a lot of games, man. There's like 7,000 names. There's like, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you guys jump into the game and explore it organically? Because I will say I played Spider-Man organically. As in, I just played it. And
same.
And there's a difference, I think, a lot of times where you get people who are just talking, well, I hit a guy, like you said, 5 times in the air. It's like, well, so did I, but I didn't. If that pops up,
that
great.
Just happened.
And if it's you have to get a 100-hit combo, the chances of me getting it's probably low, because maybe I don't even play in that way. And I as you can tell, it removes some fun out of the experience for me, where when I quantify everything into things I have to do. I don't even like chapters in games, I when I start quantifying things where it's like, we talked about this.
Right, these
chapters
are the things I need to do, and like this is the percentage I'm done, this is the percentage that's left. I don't like looking at any of that. I just like to be in there for the experience. Dude, I don't even see how many seasons. Well, sometimes I do, but like if there's like a show, I don't like to see how many episodes I have left and stuff, because there's this mystery there, and you're just in it for the experience. And quantifying things, gamifying things just kills it for me. It just kills my intrigue.
Jason says, my bad, old question. Oh, he's talking about Kenshi. So NC
Kenshi's
says,
dope.
do you think Nintendo is right for not having achievements? No, not right. They're just doing it differently. I personally just don't like achievements, but I know some people do. I like them in the game. What very much bothers me is we've had many games this year in particular that have their own achievements in the game. So, for example,
like
Shadow Game. No, I love those when they're in the game too, because here's why.
Yes.
They're not allowed. You can get an unlock of a suit, but there's some specific things that there's rules against an achievement unlocking, specifically because it can sort of lock somebody out of it, accessibility issues, all that. So a lot of that stuff's in game. I was playing Shadow Gambit, and they had these amazing unlocks where if you found this story, you get a little bit more story, all that. It was in the game. But that game also had, you get achievements as well. So you're like, bing, bing, boom, bang, boom, boom. You unlock this, you unlock that. And you're like, which one the fuck is that? Is that in the game? I like in the game ones But the doubling down bothers me a little bit because I'm almost always a fan of in-the-game achievements. I like that
Same,
stuff.
yeah. I mean,
because the
one of my
developers
favorite things
cultivated it. Sorry.
Yes,
continue.
exactly. And the reward system is great. Like one of my favorite things was in World of Warcraft was to hunt achievements for special mounts and stuff, you know, and like different things you would get and titles and, you know, things you can show off with. So those are always awesome. Just have a system there that incentivizes you to do something for like a cool reward or a rare reward, especially in like a multiplayer game or something. Even in Ubisoft, like they have achievements, but they give you points that you can use to like get
on
like
other
cosmetics
games,
or
which is
on other games,
awesome.
which, you know, in their whole thing, you know, where you can argue, oh, what's Ubisoft's connected universe, and start to like fill in the pieces there. Because I heard like, yo, Watch Dogs is connected to Assassin's Creed, is connected to
right. You always hear
right?
and some of that happens because of those unlocks for sure. You'll get a skin for Aiden in one in a game, and you'll be like, does that mean that Aiden's in? Which I like that discussion. I do. If you're going to do achievements, I would say, strangely enough, copy Ubisoft in some way and let the achievements purchase things in all your. You can't do it for Microsoft because they have too many games. Ubisoft's got these worlds, but I do like the ability to buy a new Far Cry, and I have a bunch of points from Assassin's Creed because I've played it like 15 times, and you're like, dude, I can buy a shirt. That's sweet, you know, like a brand new shirt day one. It's very cool. Looking at here, I like in-game unlocks. And by the way, if you guys like achievements, it's great. You know, we're not going to get in that kind of argument. I just worry about it, just like everybody worries about micros. But micros have rules. Most states, nations, governments are starting to put rules down. And for loot box, And so they're a little bit more not protected. But Bonzies says Pillars 2 had an amazing achievement in-game with rewards you could spend to unlock new gameplay features.
What the fuck? I don't even remember that. And I love Pillars. Well, I haven't played a lot of Pillars 2 yet. I love Pillars 1, but really, I don't even remember that.
Man, dude, could you list some? Because I've played that game through once and halfway through the other a second time. Pillars 2 did not grab me. I know it grabbed you more than one. I think I liked. What's the one where you're evil?
No. One is like my favorite CRPG of all time.
Okay. So we both like one more than 2. All right.
Yeah, of course.
What's the...
Well, I haven't played all of 2 yet, but it's definitely a different like vibe.
But
the gameplay is better.
Feel to, you think so? It's got a feel to it. What's the evil one where you're the evil lord?
Tyranny. Awesome. A lot of good choices. A lot of choice. It's like a choice game, shorter but choice. Yeah, very. Good.
Tyranny felt like Dark Urge for an overall leader. There was something about it that was like, oh, this is so sweet. Man, that game was good. Tyranny 2. I know that Sawyer was saying that Microsoft or somebody would have to pay him Baldur's Gate levels of money to do Pillars, which I don't know if that was a joke. I don't see him requiring that much, but I would rather have Microsoft pay for another Tyranny. Like I would, you know, I would kill I would kill for that.
It's one of a kind game.
Tyranny is definitely one of a kind. It's very unique, and I don't think I'd play it again. Did you play Tyranny once and then?
I played it once, and I never like the thing is with choice-based games, I don't like the idea of replaying it to see what the other see what the other choices are. You know what I mean? It kind of I just like going into it. Even
ruins
if I
my classic one-time experience.
Yes, but like even if I were to replay something, I don't go into it with the mindset of, oh, I chose that choice last time. Let's see what happens if I chose. Like I don't like that mindset, so I just go into it and play naturally again. Probably end up, you know, choosing the same shit I did before, but you know, I just don't like to do that. It kind of gamifies the experience for me. Disco Elysium is one of my favorite games in the world that I will never play again because I just loved how my story played out, and I never want to change that. I just want that etched into my memory.
And it's the same with Baldur's Gate for me. 3.
Baldur's Gate, the reason I want to do a future playthrough is for Dark Urge, pretty much.
Right, I do remember you. And I did Dark Urge first, and I loved it, man. I loved the experience, and I will never play it again. And I'm totally.
I kind of wish I did Dark Urge like from right off the bat.
Hey, they made it available and then bitched about it. It's like, listen, you guys are the ones who made it available day one. Don't be telling people. They needed to be like, you know how, fish hooks will say, "Do not swallow" on the bag. It needs to have like 6 warnings where you hit it. It's like, are you sure? If they were that worried about it, and obviously they weren't. I don't know how it came up. What's up, Lucitan? what's going on there, sir. Josh said he would like to, not... Dominic says, Josh said he would like to, not that it would require that to be clear. Gotcha.
Oh, he'd like to make like a mocapped Baldur's Gate level pillars.
I think what he's saying is that Josh might jump into it at a lesser cost, which is what I thought. Knowing that guy and what he likes to do, it seems like if somebody came to him
he
and
scared
said,
me, dude.
Why?
In a Twitter post, he was because people love turn-based way more than real-time with pause, and he's going like, well, maybe turn-based is the move, but I love real-time with pause. I just if they do a Pillars 3, hopefully they have the option. Because I really love real-time with pause, man.
Yeah, real-time with pause.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's pseudo turn-based anyway. Real-time with pause, because you choose the turn. And I get that people like the 1-for-1 in turn-based, but I think I like real-time with pause more than turn-based.
I like the strategy of it, kind of like.
And where it can get out of the way, out of socket. You know, you'll be like, okay, I got the plan, and then something goes wrong, and you're like, do I pause or do I just say fuck it and try to work through this? Yeah, it feels good, man. Especially when you pull something out, you save a guy who's got 1 hit point, and you barely saw him. You're like, heal up. I do. Speaking of that, I do wish more games had gambits running to where you could say, dude, listen. And we see it in a lot of these. I want to make sure people aren't saying these, but I would love to see almost all games with a party. Tell the party, listen, don't take the last health, but take all the health you need if you get to 5% or whatever. Just please keep yourself alive.
I think Pillars had that to an extent.
Yeah, I believe it did. Even it's been a long time since I played Pillars, but I thought Pillars might have even had the oh no, it was Inquisition.
Like if you're
Inquisition
under 5% health, use a health bar. Oh, Inquisition had that.
Yeah, Inquisition had something along those lines, and I love that. It's like take care of yourself a little bit. Like I'm not your dad, and why would you let yourself die? Like you know, you can tell him don't take the last one because I'm the powerful character, maybe.
Yeah,
but otherwise, let's see. He was clear. Turn-based is superior, is what Dominic said. That he believes turn-based is superior. Man, I don't.
I like real time with pause more, but I see that everywhere. I see people liking turn-based a lot more. So
what about you
in
chat? Turn-based or real time with pause?
Yeah, let's see.
And for sure say real time with pause. Otherwise, you're gone. Benjamin says real time with pause is awesome.
Dragon Age Origins had amazing real time. Like that was one of the first games I played with that system, and I just fell in love. I played on like
it feels sexy when it's like when I don't know. There's something about a little danger. You
see it play out.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude,
are
man.
you sure you want to like go into real time? And you're like, wait, okay, I'm sure. And then somebody said Icewind Dale did it great. Icewind Dale's my favorite of all their games of all time. So yeah, I would agree.
Oh wow, a lot of real time with pause. Oh hell yeah, guys! Damn.
ACG best gaming chat. Alex says which game reviews are coming other than Alan Wake. I'm going to try to hit Invincible. The Invincible. I want to give a shout out to like a small dev, and I do cover big games, but I have tried to cover small games. It's just harder when there's so many big games. But Invincible, I would love to cover Modern Warfare, but they're a little tentative on codes for me. And by the way, that's not. I don't think that has anything to do with what I said. I think just they have influencers that are Call of Duty influencers. So it's like, we'll give them to those. What other games? I'd love to do Mario RPG, but there's Nintendo's so they're not great to work with. They do not like my cussing
for their games.
Yeah,
but the cussing.
The cussing.
Their creators are very,
dude,
they cry, but when they see a trailer and shit. Yeah,
I'm the guy going, "Why are you crying?" and they're the ones crying. Yeah. It's probably not going to work.
Oh my god, there's blah 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 in Smash, and literally I've seen people cry because there's like a character in Smash.
I felt so bad during our interview when we were interviewing an influencer, and I brought that up, and it was hers.
Oh,
and I was like,
dude.
I was like, dude, like I don't mind. It's not like I control anything. So when I say I don't mind, I was really just saying I like excitement. But there was this person crying when they announced a trailer of something, and I was like, are we already in tears? Because if we are, we need some Paxil, man, because that's really devastating to your psyche. And she was like, yeah, that's mine. That was all. She was very cool person though, very cool.
Do you remember who it was?
No, I was with Maddie. He might have been on this channel, or we might have been on his.
Oh,
I think it was on his during the podcast.
About.
But yeah, he had some great guests, man. We always had such a good time. And she was awesome, because I remember talking to her afterwards and being like, listen, I was not trying to...
Miss something, right?
Miss some... I don't remember. Yeah.
Wait.
Yash wants us to talk about Metal Gear Solid.
Miss Click.
I don't think I would remember the name, to be honest.
Gotcha.
So, real quick, let's discuss, what did you think of Metal Gear Solid? I'm going to let my dogs out.
What, the remake?
Yeah, the trailer. He wants us to talk about the trailer.
Yeah,
we already did a little.
You know, as we all know, we don't trust Konami because they do some weird ass shit. I think they fucked up the remaster. I didn't really look into it too much. The remaster isn't really a remaster; it's just a port or whatever. Which is kind of pretty disappointing. But the remake honestly looked fucking good. Like graphically, it looked really, really good. And just seeing Snake, you know, just seeing that version and that game running at those graphics, I was like pretty hyped. But
can I ask you a question?
Hopefully it's just a graphical remake and they don't fuck up the game some.
What did you think about the? Did it look like his animations were running at 30 FPS?
I don't know, because when I watch like a video, I can't tell as well as like playing the game, because I don't, you know what I mean? When I watch a video and it's 30 FPS, I see it just as smooth. I don't actually remember. I'd have to go back and look and see if his animations were playing at like a lower frame rate or something. Did it look to you that it was like 30?
It did. If anybody's watching, you can go check this out. We were watching it live, and so you got 60 FPS on your YouTube or whatever. But yeah, it looked. It could have just been framey, but there was something about his look that looked. Do you remember when Assassin's Creed had a cape that ran at 30, but the game ran at 60? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
There was a couple animations.
Some people do it
like,
stylistically really well. Like there's the Proteus. Remember Proteus? It's a game on Game Pass where it's like Doom, but it's like good graphics, but the sprites, like the enemies, are like older sprites.
Yeah,
and they run at a lower FPS, and that looks really, really cool.
Or Spiderman, which made a lot of people sick. Oh, dude, I can definitely see somebody saying, "Oh, this is making me feel a little weird inside." With what is it? The animated suit, I guess.
Yeah, there's two of them. Yeah, and it's it bothers me. I can't really do it. Yeah, it fucks with me.
Alex says, sometimes you have to pay for a game to review it. Yeah, I buy the games regardless, but I had to buy Xenoblade. Wait a minute, did I buy Xenoblade? It was Zelda I bought.
You bought Xenoblade as well.
Was it both of them? Okay, yeah, where I had to buy them. So one of the things you have to watch out for is some companies will come after you with an embargo even after the review is out, and we saw that with Spider-Man, where people were getting it on the street and they were streaming. What I would probably do is find out what the embargo rules were and try to fit my review into whatever everybody else did.
To be safe.
To be safe. Yeah, and or contact the company and say, hey, listen, man, you know, I'm going to do, you know, if you strike me, but I'm going to do a review. I think at that point, there's really no reason to risk your channel, though, because if they wanted, they could copyright strike you, which is tough on a channel. Instead, I would probably cover 2 indie games or do or cover it in the podcast. It just makes more sense to do it that way and not get in trouble. Are we going to talk about the fact that UFC has the same roster of fighters that UFC 4 did and is missing 60 ranked fighters? So technically doesn't have the same if it's got 60 less.
True, I guess.
Right? True. I mean, when you think about it, so it's got 60 less.
Damn, I haven't played a UFC game in so long.
Dude, that's what I was going to say. Come on.
Damn.
UFC is definitely not in danger of. They have far surpassed that regurgitation of like going through the motions that NFL and NBA have done. It's just UFC is UFC is UFC.
Like boxing and stuff, they've all died down, man. I don't like Fight Night and all those. I used to love those, man. They've all died down.
I would love to see Fight Night, dude. I would kill for it. But once they realized you can kick somebody in the face, the complexity there, UFC just stormed. Even though some boxing matches are big, I don't want to see Jake Paul or whatever, one of the Pauls, whichever one it is. I don't give a flying fuck if he's out there fighting some boxer. I want to see true boxers, like the ones who have gone up. You know, I get that he does have skills, but UFC's just replaced it because the complexity's there. You know, ground game and it usually sucks too, dude.
But even Fight Night had like pretty cool, like it was pretty
I love
deep
Fight
with
Night,
how
man.
you can throw punches and like with the right stick, you know.
I'd play that. I would review the hell out of a Fight Night if it came out, because Undisputed is the Steam early access version of a fake Fight Night, and it's awesome. And it's like the idea of boxing is all stamina management, because you see those guys take 600-700 face punches in a single fight, and it's like
Souls like.
Yeah, right. It's like lungs and stuff like. It's all about like really watching. I love that, and it's more so a little bit than UFC until
Strategy.
two UFC fighters get together and they both have big lungs, and then you're like, oh, here we go. These guys are going to punch each other for 5 rounds. Whenever you get, I don't know about you, dude, but when you get done, if you see a boxing match, it's so funny because it takes longer, it seems, to really get bruised up. But when you see a 13-round match or whatever, and they're done, and their head looks like an abacus has been shifted all to the right, and you're like, that dude's fucked.
It's a good
for
analogy.
life. Yeah, have you seen some of those guys? I mean, when they get done, they're like,
brain damage and
brain
shit.
damage. Yeah, and sustained too, because it's even longer. Like the longest UFC, I think the longest all martial arts is 5'5". That's 25. But you can have overtime. But imagine boxing. I think they still do 13 in the heavyweight, and they're only 3. But it's just like, they're just smashing the fuck out of each other, man. And some of those guys are huge, and you can only do punches. So there's something about a lot of those guys use their faces as catcher's mitts a little bit. You'll see them stick their head out on purpose to tire. By the way, in real life, you never want to tire the other guy out by using your own face. Like in real life, you would never say, I'm going to tire this guy out using my own face. But in boxing, that's... that
strategy.
can be a thing. Yeah, it's
wild.
It's what do you call it? Good strats or whatever. It's like,
oh my god, that's the meta.
I love watching the old UFC Fight Night Championship, Fight Night 3 on the Xbox 360, 3 or 4 or whatever. Those were sweet.
That's the one I played. Yeah.
And like you said, you could have the you hold the trigger to do power, you let go of it to not, so you can be like hook. Oh, it felt so good. 12 3-round. Yeah. Thank you very much. Wonder if MSG will have native keyboard and mouse.
Oh,
that's a good question.
That's a good question, because you never know with them,
Konami?
right? With Konami. Yeah, you never know. Wait, did remaster? What
I think remaster was missing.
Let's talk about it. What did they do?
I don't know, because I haven't followed it. I know people in the chat were discussing it and weren't too happy with. There were some things with the Switch version, but it was running at 30. I think that's expected.
On PC or
no,
just
Switch.
Like on console?
That was 30 on Switch.
Oh, on the Switch, obviously. Yeah. Oh, wait, not obviously. Why? Metroid Prime ran at 60. Metroid Prime is like a
on the Switch.
Yeah. The remaster.
That's
ran
sweet,
at fucking
man.
60. Yeah.
That's sweet. That's good for them, man.
So no, it doesn't make sense. Well, I don't know. Do they? And I think someone said there's no mouse and keyboard for the remaster on. Yeah, remaster's gamepad only. Listen, I get that there's a lot of games that like I would never play with a keyboard and mouse, but I think if you're releasing on a platform that is like you're releasing on PC, you should some kind
use
of
the
keyboard and mouse
major
support.
control scheme. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because you sit down to a console, you don't have a mouse and keyboard as your de facto. You have the controller. When you sit down at a PC, your de facto is the mouse and keyboard. So
yeah, for sure.
It would only
Some
make
people
sense.
don't have controllers.
Yeah. Well, that would be like buying a VR headset game and it's no VR. You'd be like, what the fuck? This doesn't make any, like, it's just flat.
Yeah,
and you'd be like, dude, come on, man. It makes no sense. Yes, they need to make sure it's in there. And somebody will hack it or something like that, but we don't want to trust modders. It just needs to be mouse and keyboard. Any game on PC, regardless of if it's a port, they need to do mouse. I mean,
for sure, undeniable.
Come on, like what? It doesn't even make
it's like
sense.
a no-brainer, right?
Yeah. Why haven't they made a new Fight Night? So Mendez,
That's a good question.
boxing is still huge. It is, but from what the same thing I talked about, once the developers saw the complexity of MMA and they really dived into it, they just thought it's boxing plus.
Is it the same devs that do a UFC that did Fight Night?
So I don't know if it's the full dev, but I absolutely know some devs who worked on Fight Night have worked on UFC. And back in the days, Dreamcast UFC, there were people that were switching between from the UFC to the boxing. So yeah. I would love to see it, but we also don't see a Muay Thai specific one, which I would love to see. We don't see a lot of the specifics. I think MMA just fits it all because you have really good boxers in MMA sometimes where that's all they do, and sometimes they'll lose due to leg kicks, but we see it with everything. Buying a console without the controller. Exactly. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Licensing as well. Yeah, that's probably true. Boxing has an issue with the cost of everything.
Isn't it like other sports games where it's kind of the same deal? Where
yeah, but from what I understand, even behind the scenes, when you hear boxers, there's a lot of issues with tyrannical people running the organizations. They probably want way too much for the output.
Right, right, okay.
So they would do fake names, instead of Mike Tyson, it'd be like, it's Mike Wyson. And you'd be like, that's Mike Tyson,
Gotcha.
What was it? What was it? Fight Night. Remember, Fight Night had Mike Tyson, and was he called Mike Tyson? I thought in the original Fight Night he might have even been named something else. I could be wrong in that.
Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Yeah, but okay, there was another. Yeah, true.
There's that, right?
It's his name. Okay, so I'm not talking about that one. Oh no, Balrog is on Street Fighter. He was Mike Tyson.
Oh, wait,
right?
Really?
Is it Balrog?
It's like Liu Kang is Bruce Lee.
Yeah,
and...
right. But I do love that you just pointed out it was called Mike Tyson's Punch Out. That's amazing. But yeah, no, I meant Street Fighter. Street Fighter did that where they took in. And I mean, look at Mortal Kombat. The original Johnny Cage was Claude Van Damme.
Right.
Now they've got it.
Yeah, with the splits as well and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you played Undisputed? That's the one we were talking about earlier. I have played it on Steam finally, and it's very good. They did a really good job.
Nice.
Alex says, do you guys prefer coffee, tea, or matcha as a stimulant?
I like coffee and tea. I don't really drink matcha. What's that? That's like the ice cream version ish of tea, right, or something like that. Am I like a sweet kind of slush version or some shit? I don't.
Might be. I haven't heard of it. I do pop. I don't drink coffee or tea. Coffee's fine, but I grew up on black coffee, and once you get older, I don't know if my bitter taste buds are worse, but it tastes even more bitter. And I don't like a bunch of sugar, because then you're just, 35 minutes you're really excited, and then 45 minutes later you're conked out in the back of your dad's truck. Oh yeah, he was called M. Bison in Japan in Street Fighter.
Mike Bison.
Yeah,
nice, dude.
Let's see. Undisputed has all the big names, so they can't be that expensive. Okay, there we go. I thought for the most part they were using fakes, but I also don't follow the fighting game as much as I used to. Do you watch fighting? Do you watch NFL? Do you watch soccer? Do you watch any sports?
The only thing I do watch, but I don't really track it that much, is fighting. Like if fighting is on or something's happening, I watch. I watched the one recently. I don't even remember the names because, as I said, I don't track it that much.
It's fine.
It's just very entertaining to me. Versus like I don't team sports aren't really entertaining to me.
Gotcha. Any team sports. So basketball, NBA. No,
because with basketball it's like, yeah, he scores a point, they score a point. Like I don't get. Obviously I'm not saying it's not entertaining, but for me I don't enjoy it. For soccer, I don't enjoy that either. I enjoyed some NHL before when I saw like people punching each other and shit. I think that's a cool mechanic where you can throw down.
Yeah, a cool mechanic, a real life mechanic in a.
And then NFL has too much downtime for me. Baseball's too boring for me. Golf, I like to play golf a lot. I love playing golf, but I don't like watching it. So yeah, I think boxing is like the only thing that interests me because it's people fighting each other and bleeding and shit.
Dude, when I was growing up, they didn't have any of the rules to stop people from getting hurt in football. None. And you get cross routes that look like, train wrecks, like people folded in half. And I got to admit, man, it was exciting. It was exciting. And they were getting paid a good amount of money. So I was like, hey, you're going out, you got to.
Hey, there's a risk,
man. But now they've got a lot of rules, which admittedly are good because people are really getting hurt. But what does bother me is turf in the NFL. So turf is that artificial grass. Okay. And the big problem with artificial grass is your joints. Nobody's joints are prepared for it, and people are just snapping ACLs left and right. And that's the thing.
Have you ever a snapper?
Yeah, and it's like when you slide in dirt and mud, you can fold the mud and dirt they give before your bone does. But in turf, it specifically does.
Opposite.
And so we're just seeing arms and legs. Somebody fall down, their arm isn't sliding like it does in mud. It catches and then it breaks. And I'm getting really tired of people getting hurt in that way in particular. Right. I just wish they'd go back. It's hard because turf, you have to make it grow. But it's like, dude, you guys are getting billions of dollars. Figure it out. Grow some grass. If I can do it in my backyard, you can fucking do it. Figure it out. Because it just seems That seems really dangerous. Like, and you're seeing it a lot, man. Once turf came up, ACL injuries started coming up even more. You know, and if somebody tears an ACL, it doesn't matter as much as it used to. But
yeah, they need to start touching grass, man.
God, that was a really low-hanging Johnny.
Like that, man?
That was a really low-hanging Johnny fruit right there.
That's true.
Alex says, your thoughts on the final game they showed today at the Xbox event. Let me look. Alan Wake was the final. I am not giving you my thoughts on Alan Wake. Knock it off!
Oh, yeah, don't say anything. I'm your PR manager.
That was what Ronnie Lott was known for. Used to destroy receivers. Yeah. Admittedly, I don't want anybody going out of a sport because they're hurt either. UFC, you see it with people breaking each other's legs all the time. That's gross, man. I saw. That's why I was so happy.
I hate it.
When the NFL won't re-show it, or at least on my telecast I watched just recently of an NFL game, somebody broke their knee or something, and they were like, "We will not show that." I'm all, "Thank you. We don't."
Oh man!
If you hear somebody bellowing through the mics, you don't need to see it. It's like, and I've seen it enough in real life. I don't need to see it on a sport.
I get my curious, like I keep rewinding those things where like I see people like fucking twist their feet and shit, and it's like I don't want to see it, but I watch it anyway, and then I regret watching it, but then I watch it again anyway for some reason, and then again, and then
or YouTube short pops up, and you're like, oh
or Reddit
tried to catch it, Well, Reddit, I don't go. I go to OSHA, bad OSHA Reddit, where they show unsafe environments where somebody's working in water with electronics, and you're like, dude.
Oh no!
But I won't look at any of the gross
electrocuted.
Ones.
Oh man!
I saw one where a guy was getting electrocuted, and he unplugged. He was shaking. He was like, and it was a cable with a box of plugins, and he luckily got to it himself. But it was that typical, crappy ring cam or whatever that was showing him. Luckily,
I saw.
He came out of it.
I think I don't know if it was an airport or something, but someone was literally getting electrocuted to like death, I think. But the other people like just were chilling, like acting as if nothing's happened. And the guy that owns the store or whatever just looked at him and looked away. I was like, what the fuck? Wild.
That's I mean, especially now, people are almost afraid to intervene in something, because you don't know exactly where it's going to go or what exactly is going on and stuff like that.
Right.
I would intervene, but at the risk of whatever. You might either get hurt
or something, I guess.
Yeah, or double leg kick them. Then you'll land on it and get shocked anyway. Let's see, what else do we got for awesome discussion here?
Yeah, exactly, Paul Simon. Like it's like a car crash. You just wanna see it, but you don't at the same time. It's kind of crazy.
Dude, that's it for our major discussion points. Anybody have any questions in chat? And while you guys throw those out, I will check Twitter because I did post there and Reddit. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I don't need to say. I like to see it in video games though.
Yeah, video games.
Right?
All for that.
Video games all day long.
Hyper realistic ones come out like the.
Oh, true.
But true. No. Yeah, I'm down for. I was talking to my coworker today, and he was like, "Yeah, my son like plays GTA and Red Dead and stuff, and he's only like 11 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he does it really smartly, where it's like where he kind of understands and he lets his son have his like autonomy to play these violent games and stuff because they're not real, but like all he wants is just transparency. The one thing he's like not on board with is like nudity and stuff, but like obviously he's not stupid and knows like that his kid will get there at some point. But
yeah, right. Yeah,
I mean, I was playing Mortal Kombat when I was like 4 or 5 or something. So, and I'm fine now. I'm not a serial killer or anything.
That's exactly what a serial killer would say. Like to the letter. That is exact. A serial killer would not say I'm a serial
anything,
killer.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I'm just saying.
I don't kidnap people. Yeah.
Josh says you guys like spicy food. My wife hates that. I put hot sauce on everything.
I like tasty food. So if a spicy, meal is tasty, I like that. If a spicy meal is not tasty, I don't like that.
The spice should add the spice part, right? The taste, not heat.
Like, yeah, it should add value. And sometimes there is value to adding spice to something, but when there is no value to it, I don't prefer it. But yeah, sometimes when I'm eating a meal, I have like this like very chili pepper, like very, very spicy that you only nibble a little bit of. You put it in salt. and like I'd eat like my meal or something. Like I take a spoonful and then like I take a little bite out of that. It gives it a little kick. It's pretty good.
I definitely like textures, so cheese and steak, because they have different texture. I like mixes of textures.
Crunchy with soft, putting chips in sandwiches.
Chips and sandwiches, dude.
Yeah,
and by the way, I know there's some psychopaths who don't do this, and if you are a murderer. But I know some people don't smash their hamburgers, and so I wanted to ask you, do you do that? So if you get a triple, do you smash it down with your hand so you can eat it like a normal person, or do you just caveman that and get it everywhere? If it's like a big burger.
Eat it? If it's like a bigger than my mouth diameter,
right?
Yeah, I definitely squish it so I can eat it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly,
for sure,
dude.
For sure.
I saw some.
How would you?
Well,
what would you
nibble.
do?
My wife does it. She won't smash a burger. She nibbles
bottom,
top, and I'm like, dude, nibbler, knock it off. Oof. Let me smash it for you. She's like, no, you don't smash a burger. I'm like, that's all you do, dude. I was telling the guy, I showed a picture in the Discord a couple of years ago of a triple from, I think it was Jack in the Box, and I had smashed that thing well below what a single would be.
Like this.
Yeah, but it was it was like a pancake of meat, and I was like, that's the way to eat it. I think it's because I have a beard. Like I get self-conscious too.
Oh, gotcha, yeah. Or like when there's melted cheese on something and you squish it just enough and the cheese is kind of like
hell yeah. That's the best way to eat a sandwich. Open mouth at full capacity. I just opened my mouth, Garrett. I don't. Yeah, everybody's saying they don't smash burgers. Man, I don't get it. I don't know.
Squish.
Yeah,
how do you eat it then? You just nibble?
I think they do. Damn. They, you eat. But to me, I'm just like, dude, I want to be able to like.
I need the full bite, right? Because like the whole point of it is that you're getting all the ingredients in one bite.
As I've gotten older, I've done 2 singles and not a triple now, though. Where I'm like, all right, I'm not gonna fight the burger to get it down like a snake. Detach my jaw. Human body is capable of many things. Yeah, I've seen them on the internet. Pornhub has an entire category. I don't need to see it when I eat food, though. And that's another thing. When I see a friend, like, we'll get sandwiches, and when they get, they're like, so anyway, and I'm like, nope, turn away. I don't need to see your shit. Depends on the burger. A good restaurant burger will, I'll cut in half. Okay, yeah.
I like cutting in half, dude.
Do you?
Cutting in half. Yeah. I don't do it always, but like, for example, if I have like a sandwich, I'm not eating sandwiches these days, but if I have like a sandwich made with like the rectangle bread or whatever, I just cut it in half. And so it's 2 triangles and you see like the layers of like a club sandwich. Oh, fuck. I'm hungry, dude.
Yeah, I definitely know that. So my personal belief is when I slice a sandwich, it changes the taste. I don't know why. It doesn't.
The fuck?
I know. I think it's because I like the crust and then biting into it, and I like the like I said, texture of the crust, the soft, and so when I slice it and I bite into the center without crust, my brain is like, well, that ain't the same.
Wait, dude, like peanut butter jelly sandwiches taste different when you cut the sandwich in half.
It's not that they do. Are you saying they do?
No, it does, dude.
Okay.
Dude.
So that's what I'm saying is something in my brain is like, this doesn't taste the same if I cut it in half.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's so true, man.
I think for me, it's that I like crust too. I like the different layers of the sandwich. So, like one of my friends cuts the crust off. I'm like, dude, I don't know.
I can't. Or like leave the crust of a pizza. I don't like the crust of the pizza is the part you dip with. Like that's what it's for. You don't dip the pizza part in the dip. You dip the crust part in the dip.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you dip the main part, I've seen people do that. Parts are flying into it, and you're like, dude, you just ruined the dip, man. What are you doing?
So many olives in this fucking thing, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, there's pepperoni and olives and onions in yours, and you're getting like, Canadian bacon or something. You're like, dude, seriously. You just mixed them. Yeah. What else do we got before we wrap it up? I was going to look in. Give me 1 second. We do have actually some.
We have questions, right?
We'll get through them quick and then go here. All right, here we go. What's the most psychedelic-looking game you've ever played? This is from SP3CU. Most psychedelic. Dog, your farts stink.
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
Damn.
Anyway, what's the most psychedelic? I'm gonna have a DMT trip right now. What's most psychedelic?
So there was like a horror psychedelic thing that I played once, the cyberpunk one. What was it called? It was very psychedelic, very cyberpunk psychedelic. Can you
Observer?
remind me? It was
it wasn't Observer. Was it Observer?
Yeah, Observer. Okay. Yes. It was very, very psychedelic. But in like a more techie kind of way. I'm trying to think of like a more dreamy-ish. I mean, Alan Wake, one, I don't. Max Payne had those dreamlike sequences. I think we had the dark place kind of merging a little bit sometimes in Alan Wake. Yeah, I can't think of like a very. What about you?
Probably, as somebody just pointed out, American McGee's Alice was pretty out there. And then Psychonauts would probably be my number one. Psychonauts 2 would be my number. Psychonauts 2, I think the first level's in the mouth and there's teeth everywhere. Or I remember teeth everywhere in one of the levels and being like, oh my God. And I replayed it, but I jumped in recently past the second or third level, so I didn't see that again.
Yeah, Psychonauts. Yeah, for sure.
Psychonauts totally. 2 was pretty trippy. Somebody else said We Happy Few, Observer, is pretty trippy, is what somebody, American McGee's Alice, Hyper Demon, Geometry Wars. Geometry Wars, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it was psychedelic, but that was sort of just, I don't know if I would say Geometry Wars. That's like techno. I don't know if I would say it's
abstract.
Oh, I guess they're thinking LSD trip when colors get added to stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gafferty's Galaxy, $2 super chat. All parts of the pizza are dippable.
Oh, man, really? You want to dip the part with the tomato sauce and like ranch, dude?
Kasiria says, if you had to go to a remote video, if you had to go to a remote video game, he switched it up. I knew you were switching it up. If you had to go to a remote,
video game, what island would you take with you?
What? So
is he switching the words?
He is switching the words. He's messing with us. But let's ask this: if you could take, I'm trying to... okay, let's do this. What's one level of a video game that stuck out to you the most? It's like a returnable level. It's the one that you would go, even if you didn't play the whole game. I'm going to switch his wording around. He just says, thank you very much for the officially 420th episode. So let's say that there's a level in a game. What's one level in a game that, like, you could, no matter what, it's like, this is the shit? Like, is it a water level from the old days when water levels were in every game?
Oh, man, I did not like water levels.
Oh, gotcha. I know a lot of people didn't.
Fuck, there's so much going through my brain right now. There's, like, Zelda dungeons going through my brain. There's, like, the Division museum thing going through my brain.
Oh, yeah, Division 2? Yeah.
Yeah. God,
Titanfall Factory? Alp says Titanfall Factory. Halo Snow Level. Yeah. That's a good one too.
Oh shit.
Dishonored 2 Crack in the Slab.
Is that the one with the robots or whatever with like the moving level?
I think
like
that is
very crazy level.
Yeah. The one for me would definitely be the Cradle from Thief 3. That's probably my favorite level. I even did a video on that's my favorite level of all time.
Ooh, Shadow Temple, Ocarina of Time is a really good one. That went through my head for sure. Twilight Princess had like really cool dungeons as well.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I think also the problem is most of the games that you have a major dungeon or level you like, they also had there's a reason why, because it wasn't just a one-off. So it's hard to think of. So like Halo, Snow, Flood, this, that, and pretty soon it's hard to remember the specific location.
Or like Halo 3, I remember I've done this so many times, like the last level of that game with the car and everything's going and, you know, the music.
Falling apart around you.
Yeah, and then you keep falling and have to redo and go back to checkpoint. Or like your co-op partner would like fall from the fucking vehicle and you'd go too far and they'd die or something. Yeah.
Ric Flair says, what's the best dog or cat in a video game? Don't say Persona 5, is what he says.
Best dog or cat in a video game?
Best dog or cat in a video game.
Ooh, no, hell no, not Morgana. Definitely not Morgana. Oh, you know who I liked? The dog that talks from Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought he was dope. He's like this Russian guy,
Cosmo?
Right? It's like Russian. Cosmo, he's
Cosmo?
dope.
Yeah.
He's really dope. What's another one? Another dog.
I mean, for me,
Torgal for sure. From Final Fantasy 16, because not only was he awesome, and there was like a really awesome scene with him where it just blew my mind. You could use him in combos and stuff, and he's really, really useful. Like it's really fun to use him mid combo. Yeah. What about you?
It sounds totally weird, but it's because I used them all the time, sort of like what you just said. But the dog in Far Cry 5 that you could get as a pet, as a companion.
Oh yeah, he was like my companion for most
once
of
I
it,
got
you know?
him, and then I got like the bear, which was called Hamburger, I think was the bear's name. And you just get a bear and you can get a bobcat and you can get a dog. And I love the dog in that. I just used him all the time. I really enjoyed that character, even though there isn't really any story with him, like you said. With Torgal. Torgal's such a weird name. Souls Keeper 60 super chat. Hi gents, appreciate you increasing the grind on the live streams. What's a game you didn't expect to enjoy but did? Cheers, Stefan or Steven. Just depends on where you're.
I legitimately did not expect to enjoy Hogwarts. That's from my recent memory.
Dude, yeah, that was a man.
Yeah, that was a surprise for me because I looked at it and I was like, oh, cool, like a really cool Harry Potter game or whatever. The thing is, the combat just surpassed every expectation I had. They nailed that like combo system and shit, like juggling enemies and when it clicks, man, and you're switching between your slots and you're moving around and using all your spells, your whole kit. It feels good. Yeah,
I was completely surprised by Hogwarts to the point of just being pretty stunned. But mine is Guardians.
Yeah, that too. Oof.
Yeah,
because me too as well, because I don't even like Marvel stuff. But I fell in love.
It was ridiculous to go into that thinking one thing and being like, okay, you have to level yourself out like as a reviewer, and then you're playing it going, oh my God, this is not what I thought it was. This is way better than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, Guardians for sure. It's like that'll stick out
the
for a long time.
Man.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but it was like characters, some choices actually mattered a little bit, but then also voices. We talked about this last podcast. They were pretty good. There was a couple that didn't hit, but overall they hit better than I think you even said. Drax to you now is sort of that guy, which that's pretty mind blowing when you think Batista really nailed it in his version of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So like Guardians, I still was waiting when that got like reviewed and popped off, and just having so many people in the Discord come back and it was I love the disc. Like, I just love that when people like a game in Discord, and it's just like when people are like, oh my God. They
used a lot of their strengths, man. They had a lot of Square Enix in it. It had a lot of Eidos in it. They even had a 0451 in it. Like, they used a lot of their strengths and put it into like a Marvel game, which was awesome. And the cool thing about the choices, even though like, okay, a lot of them don't matter, it's just not only the banter, but you see what it's like to be like a leader of a ragtag team of like friends, but also co-workers, and there's a lot of real problems that arise that you actually have to solve, and those choices that matter, they really change the story, dude. Like the story can go a lot of different ways.
Rocket Raccoon will not forgive you. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff.
Rocket.
Do. But I mean that is the surprise. Hogwarts is definitely up there, but it's not up there as high as. I mean, man, it was a pleasant surprise. I mean, how many times have we seen a game where it's not pleasant? Yeah, coming off of or any of the big tier games, and you're like, I don't know how this is going to go, and then it was contained to just a couple characters. The trailers looked bad. Yeah, it was all of this stuff. And how many times have we seen we think is going to be an amazing game, and then you're like, this is so utterly disappointing. So the idea of coming the other way and being like, this is disappointing looking. I
prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody does. Where you're like, okay, my money mattered. That's a great question. It's awesome to see that. I'm seeing a lot of people say Hogwarts. I saw somebody say Uncharted Lost Legacy. And while I loved that game, I wasn't surprised it was going to be good, but it did turn out to be way better. It's still my favorite Uncharted. Next up is Wannabe Dev says, what conspiracy theory is so easily disproven you don't understand how it's still going?
Oh, God. Flat Earth. 9/11. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. There's a lot of people are gonna go. But yeah, flat Earth for sure is probably the biggest. Global warming is probably a close second, because you can literally prove it. And then COVID as well, where COVID isn't real. Conspiracy is another stupid one that is easily disproven.
To me, because a lot of them are like, mathematically things change, so people try to say, well, it's just change. It's just this. But it's like flat Earth. It's like, dude, seriously? I mean,
yeah.
Like that, like the jury's out on that. That's done. Like that's
Dude, it's crazy because like the amount of power required to make a CGI in that time is way more than the amount of power.
Oh, you mean the old fake movie? This was yeah.
Yeah, the CGI back then is way harder than it requires way more computational power than believe it or not sending a rocket to the moon. So
it was such a weird time when I saw my first flat earther. I was like, or not saw, but read, and I was like, what? Yeah. What are we talking about here? Souls Sleeper, $12 super chat. Forgot to add. You prefer Patreon or YouTube? They're both fine, but I would say for you, Patreon is by far better because you can jump in the Discord, which is awesome. Yeah, you just get more stuff. So, Alex says ACG Your Alan Wake 2 review will be up at midnight. No, it'll be up when the embargo breaks, which is not midnight. It's later tomorrow morning, I believe. And I thought they meant gaming conspiracies. Sailor said no, he didn't say. He just said any
what
conspiracy
are gaming
theory.
Conspiracies? EA doesn't like single player.
EA doesn't like single player, or what? No, wait, that's not what they said. We don't like single player, something like that. They said like single player. It's not that they didn't like it; it's that they didn't.
They thought the market was moving into a multiplayer
or something.
Yeah. I don't know what a gaming conspiracy would be. Is it like a conspiracy with gaming companies? Maybe. I don't know of any gaming conspiracies though.
The only ones I know of sometimes are like the developer didn't want to release it and the publisher said do it anyway. But that's been, well, it's not been true and it's been true. So it's like that is one of those ones where you can see and go, years later you find out that is true. And then you find out sometimes where it's like everybody just likes to blame everybody else when in real life it's probably, Oh, somebody said NFT is the future. That was a good one. I remember when we were all laughing about the NFTs and going, dude, right-click copy. It doesn't matter if it's the real one. What are we talking about? And just waiting, just sitting there going like, and it was so funny because no one, by the way, ever in like our chat or Discord or anybody I talked to believed they were real. Everybody was waiting right when they first started going, this is going to absolutely crumble when this finally happens. And it did. Let's see. Did I hear the news coming out of Sony? Did I hear the news coming out of Sony? I don't think I did. News? Let me go and look. I don't know.
Sony's been
in the news. Shit. Media Molecule we talked about. They there were some cuts there, but looking here, not seeing any news at least in Reddit, and haven't heard anything. But I've been completely turned off of chat and stuff like that in Discord. So sometimes people send me stuff in Discord. They'll be like, hey, this and this is happening, but I haven't got anything I can see. Sorry.
Oh, all the playground conspiracies about discovering secret characters in games. Oh my God, we had a lot of those.
Oh, like, man, remember when you were younger and they'd be like, if you jump 3,000 times, blah, blah, blah happens. And it was just people being shits.
Yep. But that 1% that do work, and you're like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
That's what happened. That's like when you grew up. Remember, and I talked about it while you were gone. I don't believe in Kismet, but like seeing my friends in a weird store at 3 a.m., you're like, what? Like, is this is this real?
Dude, my recent memory, I had that moment where, Elden Ring had just come out and I was completely entranced by it. I was like taken away by that game, but I only got to play like 2 days before I had to go to my cousin's engagement party.
Right.
And while I was at my engagement party, her cousin from like her other side of the family was there, and he's a gamer as well. And we were both like, we were playing Elden Ring, and we were just like, yo, did you find this thing? By the way, if you can go to that part and go down the stairs, you can find this thing that like, and it was awesome. And it just like, I haven't had that in such a long time, and I love that.
True secret games
with exploration.
Like a true secret. Yeah. True secrets are cool, and they're, the internet loves to destroy secrets. Spoilers.
That's the issue, right?
With games, and so it's a little harder. But when you do find like a weapon, especially like if I've been playing and in a game, I'm trying to think of one where this has happened. It has for sure, but we're like, have you ever noticed some games, they do everything to make you go left, and I always go right. So like all the visual indicators, the bad guys over there, and I'm like, why is this tunnel go over here? And then you go and you find something. That's always cool. They're smaller. I think we all know to ignore that. But there have been ones where like I've fallen down somewhere. I found some stuff in Skyrim by falling through the ground, and I found the merchants' chests where they do their inventory for merchants, and I found his chest with all of his stuff.
Do you remember Halo Easter eggs?
Yeah, Halo had a lot, man. Halo had a lot.
Man. I remember the little caveman family. There was like one where you had to like boost jump off a friend, and like before the last sequence with the car, you boost jump off a friend, and you can see like a picture of a dude in his boxers. Like one of the
God, I forgot about the picture. There is one with a picture, and that's not even including the skulls, which were hidden, you know, in places that you're trying to figure. You're like, how did they get there? Like, how did you figure that out? That's one thing. Obviously, a lot of it's QA later, probably telling their friends, hey, there's this thing. But Halo had ones for years. Halo 1, Halo 2, Halo 3, they all had these little secrets that just felt good.
They were awesome,
you know, to find.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? Mortal Kombat had a lot of those. Yeah, Mortal Kombat had some. Mortal Kombat was pretty good with...
Even COD Zombies had like crazy weird Easter, like crazy stuff. Crazy shit.
Which one?
A lot of COD Zombies, they have like tons of
they're very good at that.
Very convoluted ass and crazy ass Easter eggs where you have to like turn like 360 degrees 4 times and then crouch once and go under this thing and then pop out, grab the fucking Hydron Collider and like put it in the, you know, it's just like all over the place, and then that's how you beat it or something.
Half-Life,
I don't know how people find it without
Half-Life
a guide.
1 also had a couple that I remember. The original Half-Life. People are talking about Connie Booth leaving. Yeah, we already knew that. That's actually a couple days old. Or maybe a day. I can't remember. My days get sort of mixed up. My favorite gaming conspiracy was I looked cool playing Dance Dance Revolution. Yeah. Conspiracy is that you wouldn't look like an idiot playing VR. And then you put it on, you're walking around, and people's like looking, you know, you just, I do, whenever you see yourself in an old high school movie, or you see we all have main character syndrome. We think we look awesome, and then you really look, you know, it's easy to get. I've done it, and I tell people this in marriage. You know, you need to take care of yourself because it's very easy. You're like, I got you, you got me. You know, I'm not going to get out of my boxers, and it's like probably not the best bet for long-term stability. Probably need to occasionally shower and wash your nether regions.
Or when someone's like drunk and dancing and stuff, and they think they look.
Oh my God! Really, and then you see the video, or what are they? Wedding party, you know, reception parties and stuff, and you're like, dude, this is going to come out. I remember my uncle. He's passed away, but he was a drunk, like really bad. And as a kid, I thought it was funny, and I didn't realize everybody else didn't, but he was drunk playing volleyball at a family reunion. It was bad. Like, but as a kid, I thought he was the cool uncle. And then when I grew up, I remember sitting and randomly thought of the memory again, and then thought of it as my age and went, oh shit. Like, no wonder, you know, because you'd hear people say, yeah, so, you know, you'd hear the little whispers, and I was like, what, man? He's a funny uncle. And then you later realize he's funny to 7-year-olds for a reason. You know, 7-year-olds like clowns. Like that's the
true.
Problem.
That is true. And, or they're deeply afraid of them.
Yeah, or they're deeply afraid, which I was.
Did you?
What was your? We'll wrap this up. What was? Well, not deeply afraid, but Poltergeist scared the shit out of me.
I had 2 things. I think I didn't get scared of clowns and stuff. I think I got scared of the darkness, and I got scared of the girl, the ring girl, where that comes out of the TV, but not from the ring, from Scary Movie 4.
From Scary Movie, yeah,
because that just etched it into my brain. And I was a kid at the time, and I just like any TV, I would like. There was like a TV in my room, and I would sleep, and I just like peek at it and look at it, and for a while that scared me, but nothing. No clowns. I loved spiders all the time. I would capture them, put them in jars and stuff, and.
I didn't. So did we. I didn't have issues with spiders until my brother got bit by one, and he had been playing with them for years. So it was just like you put them in a jar. Of course, as kids, sometimes you put another spider in. It's like, well, that's game on. Like they're not hanging out high fiving each other. They're killing each other. But I remember my brother got one, and it was just a normal house spider, and it was barely inflamed. But I remember being like, what, you can get bit? You know, it didn't even, because he had been playing with, they're so docile to humans for the most part that it had
hornets. I'm still scared of hornets.
Hornets are some surly bastards, though. They're the old man of the
They keep a
fucking
grudge,
insect family.
man.
They do. That hornets
Like,
will
if you
keep a
piss them
grudge.
off, they're not leaving.
That's the last thing I get bit by in the leg was a hornet, and I didn't realize it until like 3 of them were on there, and that my leg swelled. I thought I was coming down with something.
Oh my
like,
god!
Yeah, hornets.
Dude, I saw a short. I saw a short of a dude trapping a hornet with a cup, and I'm like, well, now what?
Oh, was it? Yeah. Tape that thing to the log.
What are you gonna
dude.
do? That's it. You're just
the
gonna
big
stay there
murder
forever,
hornets
dude.
where they like trap it and its wings are hitting each side of a giant mason jar, and you're like, dude, that thing is gonna remember you. It's like
forever.
John Wick the Hornet is gonna show up and murder your family. Yeah, it happens with some of the more aggressive bee colonies too, where they will track people back to their house, and it's like, you got to stay inside your house for a couple days. Alex says, Abzy, do you guys recommend a VR headset like the Quest 3 without a PC? Oh, interesting. Without a PC.
It can run things on its own, right? It has its own like app store. And stuff like
you
that.
rarely hear without a PC kind of thing. Personally, I say no, but that's just me. I think VR.
Yeah, I would say VR in general is just definitely a luxury item. I don't think it's worth it. Like I would say Half-Life Alyx, you can kind of say, but it's not worth that much. VR is expensive, man. You know what I mean? If there were like 10 Half-Life Alyxes, I'd say 100%. If there was like 10 of those games, like those kind of games where it's like full experiences, but there isn't.
I mean, there isn't, right? There's Excite experiences that I love. Bridge Crew is fantastic. What's the game? Vox Machina.
Vox Machina is awesome.
That thing is wicked. But they're just not full experiences like even Bridge Crew. What are some of the No Man's Sky is VR, So I mean, there's that.
Yeah, there are games that have like there's Skyrim VR, there's Fallout VR, but like a true VR game made from the ground up, like there's just Half-Life Alyx, man, and like there was Resident Evil 7, but that was on the trash one.
Dude, Resident Evil 7, if that was like reverb, blah blah blah, fully supported by that would be not a system seller, but it would be obviously a much easier, not much easier because it's $60 and then a headset, but that is a phenomenal game, I guess is all I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. It was my favorite until Alyx came out. It was my favorite
so your
VR
favorite
game.
VR game has replaced, so Resident Evil got replaced by Half-Life Alyx.
By Alyx, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But that's the last time I've used the VR. I don't know what's come out since then.
Dude, it's just that's why PSVR is having issues. The portals, any of the side stuff has to have support. That's why when I told you this, but when Lex is talking to, the guy from Meta, and then at the end he's like, oh, we still need to build apps for it. And you're just like, dude, that's everything. What are we talking about?
Do you think it's because like the premium price of the VR makes it so that there's not enough of a market share there for them to sell, to make, spend all that money to make games like Half-Life Alyx? Like it's a lot of money to spend with not a lot of return, like very risky because not a lot of people have it. Or
Lords of the Fallen cost $66 million. So if you take 16 million and you go down to like, okay, this is 40 million for a VR game, your buy through has to be insane. So what you should do is work with Meta or work with a VR company as a pack-in or something. You know what I mean? So you can just be like, because if Lord, by the way, I'm not talking down at Lords. It's just the number I know off the top of my head because we talked about it today. But goddamn, it's expensive. Totally. And Half-Life, they made it to push their own headset. By the way.
Yeah,
which really wasn't. It pushed other headsets with higher fidelity. I mean, I'm sure it pushed theirs, but I mean, it had to be open to everything. And the moment it has to be open to everything, then people look at it and go, "Why don't I just get the slightly cheaper one?"
Yeah, I got the $200 ones for it. I got
just play it, enjoy it, crank up the graphics, and then you're done. But right now they're a little bit of just a wait. The guy from Meta. Sorry, I don't even. What the hell's his name? I don't even remember his name.
Zach Muckerberg.
I always call it,
Wait,
Zuckerberg.
Zach Wait, no. What the hell's his name, dude? Zach
Zuckerberg.
No. Mark Zuckerberg. Mark.
I don't remember a lot of the CEO guys. I mean, Meta used to
Elon
be
Musk.
Dude, if he got into VR, imagine this. Imagine Elon wakes up tomorrow and says, fuck Twitter. I'm going to get John Carmack and we're going to make a VR headset, super small, wireless. That would be Amazing.
Yeah, like fuck SpaceX.
Yeah, well, and
Let's make a
also,
VR.
oh no, John left his rocket group too. Now that I
just
think about it,
implement like a VR experience in Neuralink and let us like experience like a Matrix type.
you're
reality.
gonna get a brain infection and have to leave the podcast, dude. You're gonna be like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna be like, this is the greatest thing ever. The entire world's overlaid. This is awesome. And a week later, you'll be like, dude, I got a little bit of a headache. I can't go to the podcast. And then pretty soon, I'll read like a news article about a guy stoved up in some fucking hospital somewhere with the first case of like
I'm gonna get all the
ocular
implants.
meningitis, VRS. What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm gonna get all the implants available.
Would you get an implant right now that was just your watch? So let's say it's just your watch and it's on your wrist. Would you do that? Even if there were no negatives, would you get a watch? Let's say it's under the skin, so you can see it. Like you can see that there's a mass there.
No. Unless like by implants, I mean something that boosts my capabilities.
Oh,
like a brain implant where like I'm like limitless, or like a like that makes me jump really high or something, or like
that was a weird jump from limitless, which is so useful to fucking jumping high. You're like,
imagine hopping across buildings and stuff.
Oh, you mean that, dude? It would have to increase your leg density and stuff. But I legitimately thought you just meant like a YouTube short where a dude jumps on top of some mats, and you're like, dude, worth it, worth it for the cancer, the riddling bone cancer. Limitless. If it was somehow, let's say, I would definitely do it if it stopped illnesses. Alzheimer's would be one.
Yeah,
they're now showing that sound as well as electricity might stop that from, or delay it. Parkinson's, they're doing stuff with gamma knife, which is
like
awesome.
Blindness even.
Blindness, that kind of stuff, for sure. But if you just said it was a fucking watch, I would be so self-conscious, I think, of like this bulb.
I would find out.
Skin bulb on your wrist. I can see my watch at any time.
It literally gets under my skin, dude. Like I'm not.
It
no
does.
pun intended.
A
little
bit of body horror, right? A little bit of like the movies where somebody puts something in their body and they think they're stronger, but everybody's looking at them going, "That ain't the way, man. That ain't the way."
Yeah, I wouldn't even. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Do you mind? Alex says, "Do you mind having AI working for you in your house?" Do you mean?
No, I don't mind
the Amazon stuff. Not at all. Do you mean like a Roomba? Because I don't have a Roomba. Do you?
No, but like if I had like an AI assistant, there's a Black Mirror episode, the Christmas episode. It's like one of my favorite ones with Jeff. What's his name? Dunham or something.
Healy.
No. He's like Jeff, whatever. There was like an AI assistant in this woman's house where it's like, hey, it's time. She was like the fire alarm that she'd like open the curtains for her. And
sort of like almost like a housekeeper / assistant.
Yeah, a housekeeper, but like automated. This was my dream, is like automating a house fully with like an AI there, and just the curtains open when you go down to the living room or something, or like wake up from bed, stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Can I ask you a real question without like, I'm not saying you're a dirty heathen, but is there a lot of stuff you do in your house that would require an AI? Because I don't.
Well,
my AI would be sitting there going, "There's still nothing to do," because I don't really.
If it can cook well, like a chef level.
Cook well, yeah.
Like chef level.
Gotcha.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Clean, yeah, kinda. I don't care that much, but
I sort of like cleaning. It's one of those things that there's a brain thing that goes like Power Wash Simulator, where you're like, "Hey man, I'll back." Yesterday,
House Flipper made me like cleaning more.
House Flipper did.
Yeah.
I don't think that's not uncommon. It may not last, but I don't think that's like out of the ordinary that you would do it and go, you know what? If I can do it in a video game, I mean, I don't want to go farming again because I play Farm Simulator, but if I do Power Wash, I did wash my car after I played Power Wash.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, there's something awesome about like just something you're altering it to make it look better. There's something very awesome about this idea that something looks beat up or whatever, like restoring. I've seen people restore cars that look destroyed. And when you watch a YouTube of it and you're just like, oh my God, that's the same car. Sarah Intuned, she's a car reviewer. She actually helped me, not personally. Her reviews are good enough that I actually ended up getting a car based mostly on her and some other suggestions I got. And she restores cars, and there's something magical. We've talked about it, competency porn. But when somebody's able to like make something look ancient or not look ancient anymore, that's awesome.
Dude, my friend in California, like one of my really, really good friends, childhood friends, recently opened, like a year ago, he opened a precision detail cleaning service for cars.
Yeah.
Oh, and he posts these videos on Instagram where like he shows you, like, sometimes he's cleaning and then he shows the before and after, and I've always loved shit like Pimp My Ride, and you know, Oprah used to do these things where like house renovators or something would go to like a really broken down dirty house and just like make it look. Yeah, I love that stuff.
I know a lot of people will consider there's no real way to, you know, it's a body thing, but I also love the shows where somebody gets a makeover when they let life get them down. And I'm not saying they're ugly in the first place. I'm saying, matter of fact, a lot of times they are not. And what happens is
some like homeless guy, and he gets like a nice haircut, and he ends up being very good looking.
Yeah, and you're like, life's got him down. It's hard to self-maintain when like shit's hitting the fan and you're worried about where your meal's from. And again, we wish everybody had it. And that's a totally different discussion. But I've seen a couple of those where, you know, a person's having a rough time of it and they feel better, you know, like they get that hair. Well, I don't know about you. I've felt that way. You get a haircut, trim your nails, little things that don't
only like cutting the sides of my hair, like that just makes me feel way better.
So, if you had a choice, do you like back scratches?
Yeah.
Or head scratches? Do you like a scratch or a light brush? Because my mom used to scratch my back, and I remember how amazing it was to have a back scratch. Like, you see bears doing it in the woods and, you know, scratching their ass again. And I remember going I know that feel, bear. I know that feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Where you don't even have an itch and somebody scratch your back and be like, holy shit.
You get an itch after that because when they stop, you're like, nope, keep going. It's like cocaine.
There's nothing I have... absolutely not in any way, shape, or form am I embarrassed to saying this. I have paid my wife. I've been like, I will give you $10 to keep scratching my back. Just please. Because, and it'll be 30 minutes, and I'll be like, But you know what? I don't like massages at all. At all. I hate them.
Interesting.
Do you get massages? Do you? Yeah. Like reefer massage where somebody's like, let's make this muscle or...
So, if I'm sore from the gym, I like those strong ones, but most of the time I like the
what about chat? What do you guys like? Ones. Go ahead. The relaxed ones. Do you go in and they do rocks, or is it just a hand, just oil, oil or whatever?
Oil and hands, and you know, just really nice.
I grew up where like you didn't get a massage after working out. It wasn't a thing. And then my friend who works on cruise ships, now he's like a multi-million influencer, but he learned how to do massages so he could go work on cruise lines because they pay good money, tips and stuff. And one time I had a knot in my back and I was bitching about it all day, and it was bad. It was under the shoulder blade, and I was like, you can't get there. Like, there's no way. You have to go through the bone. And he's like, no, let me try. And I was like, dude, it's just it's not going to work. And whatever he did, and it hurt, but I remember going like, okay, I get it now. Like, for those, I don't get those very often, but it was bad. And he, like, when somebody knows what they're doing, like, really not one of the people who's just like at a spa and they're like rubbing you lightly, but
you need the good ones, dude. Don't fall for the hot girls that don't know how to massage,
or Reiki or whatever, where they're like, I'm gonna rub above your body and remove your negative
I
feelings.
want this like Thai old woman that is just a pro. You know what I mean?
Wow, does that have a lot of connotations? I get what you're saying,
but
that sounded really dirty. No. It sounded really dirty. Like, I was like, sure, I mean,
still, like,
one.
Even then, you know.
Do you? It's funny too, because they're one of the jobs that is very tiring too. He was ripped. His name's Robert Cheek, and he is total vegan, but he's one of the ripped ones. Totally natural. I've known him for like 25 years. Totally natural guy, but he's ripped for a vegan. Like, you know, the uncommon.
Eating tons of beans.
I guess so, right? And he would in the control room, because I can tell you, I had to smell it. But he had hands that were like Russian wrestlers, you know, where like hoarded muscle and thick. And I remember that dude, he was like, we were testing each other to hang off a bar. Like, how long can you hang off a bar? And I remember watching him going like, oh, there's no way I can win. Like, this guy's hand strength is like 1 in a million. Just ridiculous.
He has those beefy hands.
Beefers.
Do you think if someone has beefy hands, that means, does it like correlate to having What if you have like beefy hands but like a very tiny penis? That
You mean what's the trade-off? I'd take
I
the
can't see
frail.
it.
I'd take the frail hands every time.
Yeah.
Oh, if
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a trade-off. No, I haven't. I never asked him that, but I will
Okay,
say
yeah.
that like when we
Yeah.
were hanging out, and he would, if I did have a knot or something like that, I mean he was
Yeah.
one of the first ones where I was like, oh, he knows what he's doing. It wasn't the
He could
soft
just use
stuff.
his thumb and just go.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what he did. And it sounds people
Yeah.
are probably like, we've all seen this, but you have
Big
to realize
surface area.
when I grew up, it wasn't
Yeah.
you never, even fighters would be like sauna maybe or jacuzzi, but it was, and then you hear about fighters getting massages and you're like, oh, it came later. The Iron Man way of doing things was big for years. People are teasing about the happy ending. Yeah. I was a massage therapist for 5 years. Helpful massages don't
Nice.
really feel good. Yeah, I will admit his didn't feel good. But he pinpointed whatever was busted in my back, and I got to say, like, it was awesome because as somebody who has a bad back or bad shoulder, you ever had one of those, like a muscle pull in like upper back or whatever, and you're just stoved up. You're like, well, I guess life shut down for 4 days because I can't do shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Or woke up with a calf cramp. Holy Christ. Have you ever got a calf?
Yes.
Man.
Or when it freezes or something and it's just like permanently
It locks
frozen,
up
you're
almost,
like,
you mean? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'll be in
yeah.
bed, like, trying to straighten, and you're like, if I straighten, it's going to snap my calf. And your calf is so bound up. Calf cramps are by far the worst.
Dude, the worst
thing
no,
I've ever had.
no. The worst for me is when you sleep like funny and your neck hurts and you're just like, well, I'm fucked for the day.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
That's my neck for the day.
It aches, then your head starts hurting, and then everything's together, and anything fun is. That's the way I'm with headaches, where I'm like, anything fun is ruined. Because when it comes to anything, I'm a wussy for neck or headaches. Like, I'm just
I hate headaches.
So do I, man. And like, I definitely stopped getting it with dropping carbs.
Yeah, I stopped. Once I got on keto, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting.
I would say that was the major bonus, beside being able to control weight a lot easier or gain muscle and stuff. But the big thing was I'm sure it was breads. It was just eating the bad stuff.
Yeah, something. Yeah,
Switching
I was
to it
getting
feels
them like
so good.
every day,
So
every
was I.
day, like 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's the one big positive for like low carb, at least for me. I'm sure some people's gonna say, I eat a bunch of carbs and I'm fine. That's just the way it is.
For sure.
Let's see. Absy likes them older. Also, the happy ending jokes will never end. Yeah, that's probably true. Let's wrap it up. What do we got? That's it. You guys will be able to check Friday, the podcast. Tomorrow is a review. Oh, no, Absy won't be here for Fridays, right?
Yeah, I won't be
You'll
here
be
on
out Friday. So it'll be me and Johnny for sure, and Silver maybe. I don't know. Silver's always got leg issues, so we'll see if he feels well enough to sit for 3 hours talking about dogs and sex. And I always feel like whenever we're talking, like Silver just leans back and he's like, "These guys are cretins." It's like sometimes when we're talking about you just see Silver like silently judging. He's like, I'm just joking.
Like,
he's never
shit.
judged. He's never, ever judged. I want to make sure that's clear. That'll be it for us. Thank you, everybody, for sitting around listening to us talk. Thanks for all the people who subscribed, pushed out notifications, jumped into Patreon. Before we wrap up, do you have any last words of wisdom? My dog, yes, I am getting wrapped up. The dogs instantly. You have anything?
Words of wisdom: and enjoy life, enjoy games. Life is great. Games are great. Well, life isn't great for everybody. I know, like there's a lot of suffering in the world, but games are awesome. They're the one like beacon of light. Spend more time being positive and have fun. And a lot of good games are out.
I can't add any. Do you know what? There was a toast in a movie of all things that I loved. It was called Long Kiss Goodnight. You seen this movie? Have you seen Long Kiss Goodnight? It's about an assassin who loses her memory, like all movies.
Okay.
But he said, may the worst of your future be the best of your past. And I was like, dude, that's a fucking wicked ass saying.
Wow.
Like, I was like, dude, that is a really good toast. I got to use it if I ever get invited back to another like marriage ceremony. I have to use it. Reception.
It's a good quote.
Have a good weekend. Many happy endings and back scratches. Thank you very much. Peace out, everybody. Have an awesome week until Friday, and then show back up here. Gina Davis, that's correct. Okay, I'm seriously ending now. now ended.